That's what I'm talking about.
Wait! Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hit it, boys. What are you talking about?
Hey everyone, welcome into the Arena, a Multiplatform Gaming News Podcast. This is episode 155. I'm your host, Expat, along with my co-hosts, Burley of Burleman Gaming, Turn-Based Carl, and Fubu87. Burley, how you doing this week? I know you had some problems with your internet, and they are still persisting. Hope everything's getting close to being solved.
Yeah, everything is, well, it should be close to being solved. I should have my internet back by Tuesday. They're promising me at the latest. And then I'm still dealing with my building company because they, even though they caused the issue, they're like, well, it's not our fault.
Right.
Yeah.
And Fubu, I heard again that you're contemplating, retiring from the, the FC, the soccer game that you always play. But I can't believe that.
No. It's like the people that have issues with drugs. I'm not going to drug myself anymore, and I'm going to go do a treatment, and then you find them they're in the same position again. It's an addiction. It's a drug. I love competition. That's it. I need those endorphins. I'm going to be cranky.
No. You love spiritual opium.
That's what we need to get you on.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. No, but after I finish the podcast with you guys, my head's going to be clear. I'm going to be back on it again, back on the horse, how they say it. So, also that Burley internet thing, it's a bigger saga than Lord of the Rings. It's been amazing to follow it.
No. Burley's just doing his Gollum,
My precious internet.
Yeah, he's doing that. Yeah, so he's got to get his internet back. Carl, how you doing, man? How's your daughter? For last we had a situation, but I hope she's doing better, man.
Yeah, she's good. Yeah, she fell and hit her face somehow, and she immediately had like big swelling and bruising on her nose. So we were just worried that it was broken or something, and it turns out it's fine. And by now it's better, but it lasted for like a good week or so.
Just a little bit of a personal note on my side. My daughter, she had her interview a couple of weeks ago now. She had her interview test for Tokyo International University, and she got accepted. So So really happy for her and proud of her. And she's going to be going to Tokyo International University from next April. So excited for her and for that. So good stuff.
It's going to be awesome.
Congrats, man.
Talking my experience when I was in university. What they say is it's like the best time. She's gonna party a lot. Trust me, she's gonna have a blast. Of course, she's gonna study also, but she's gonna party a lot probably because that's the best time. I love my uni time, so it's really good.
Yeah. So anyway, looking forward to having her go off to college. She's probably, because we're not so far out from Tokyo here, so she might actually still live at home while she goes to school out there, and maybe get a part-time job on the side. So but excited for her, man. Anyway, we got a great show for you. Episode 155, the topic of the show, we're going to be talking about 2024. So what we think are going to be some of the cool trends, what we think about the games that are going to be coming out in 2024. We're going to be looking at all the consoles and PC gaming and stuff, and talking about those areas as well. And we got some of the weekly news beat, talking about the Game Awards that's coming up on Thursday, so we're really excited about that. And then, of course, we've got news about The Witcher 4 being worked on now, as well as our picks of the week. And we might briefly also talk about some of the news that dropped about Microsoft and the fact that they're not going to be anytime soon, as far as what Phil Spencer says, that Game Pass will be coming to PlayStation or the Nintendo Switch. We'll talk about that briefly, but yeah, all that's going to be in the weekly news beat. But before we get into that, and before we get into the games that we've been playing this past week, here is a brief word about where you can find this podcast in audio and video formats.
Discuss what they have been playing, this episode of The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast's ad-free version in audio and video formats, will be going to Patreon after being recorded. So if you would like to support the show and become a patron at the entry tier 1 level at $1 per month and get every episode including exclusive ad-free post-show content in video format when recorded, please visit patreon.com/thearenaproductions for further details. The audio version of the podcast will be uploaded to all free podcast services, where you can find us on any podcast app for iOS or Android, and in the video version, it will be on our YouTube channel, The Arena Productions. For the audio version, just download your favorite podcast app and search for The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast. Subscribe, follow us, post a review, and leave us questions, comments, and feedback if you like, if that feature is available there, and spread the word about the podcast. We also have a Discord called The Arena Productions, where you can join and chat with the Arena Productions community, and the podcast audio website is at thearenapodcast.podbean.com, where you can follow us and leave questions and comments as well. For all information regarding the podcast and our entertainment and pop culture related content, along with our blog and forums, visit the official website of The Arena Productions at www.thearenaproductions.com. Finally, you can also follow us on Twitter at The Arena AMPGNP, as well as on Instagram at The Arena Productions. Now, back to the show.
Okay, guys, let's go ahead and talk about the games we've been playing. I will go first. I finished Gaiden, The Man Who Erased His Name. I finished that. And I also played the demo that's included in it for Infinite Wealth.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah, Carl, you know me, I'm more into the action as opposed to the turn-based,
Yeah.
but it was fun though. It was fun. The turn-based, side of things when it comes to Infinite Wealth was cool. I mean, on the streets of Honolulu, it's pretty cool. And, Ichibong, man, I mean, that guy, what a clown that guy is. I mean,
He's such a great character, though. Did you
oh,
not
yeah, he
play
is. He is.
Like a Dragon?
Yeah, I played Like a Dragon. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah,
I played 7. I
They
mean, yeah,
did
he's
such a great job with that turn-based combat, like it just making it really fun and exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just freely walk around and get into battles with the guys, like just sitting around in the city like that. It's good.
right. Well,
Good
what's
transition.
cool about the demo is, I mean, you're running around, like Yokohama, like Honolulu, right? And it's like you're battling these thugs, and the thugs are speaking English this time instead of speaking
cool.
Japanese. Yeah, and you're fighting in pretty much every corner of an ABC Mart area, because Honolulu, it's if you've ever been to Honolulu, it's like every 2 or 3 buildings is like ABC Mart. It just littered all over the main strip of Honolulu. But yeah, it's fun, and of course Kiryu is in it as well. So I mean, it's basically Kiryu and Ichibong, in most of the demo. But getting back to Gaiden, though, man, oh man, I'm not going to spoil anything, but the thing about the Yakuza games in general, now it's called Like a Dragon, but those games get really emotional in certain parts of the game, and especially towards the end of the game. Even the Judgment games, as you can attest to, Burley.
Oh yeah.
Gaiden is probably the ending of that game is probably one of the most emotional scenes that you've ever seen, that you will ever see in a Like a Dragon game up to this point. It's very, very emotional. I really enjoyed it. And a lot of characters pop up that you think that you wouldn't be seeing, but they do pop up. So I'm not going to spoil anything, but yeah, I mean, it's fun. And it's the traditional, combat system, like in the earlier Yakuza games. So check it out if you haven't checked it out yet. It's it's on Game Pass, and you can get the demo for Infinite Wealth, and it's a pretty long demo too. It's at least about 3 hours or so. So it's a good sized demo. So yeah, check it out. So that's what I've been playing. Carl, I'll go ahead and start with you. What have you been playing this past week?
I just played more Persona 5 Tactica.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
getting pretty far along in it, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah, they keep adding, new things as you go. So slowly add little extra things you can do. Like there's like now they add height at a certain point where you can go up and down like ladders to higher levels.
Yeah.
And then later they add that if you hit an enemy off the ledge and then you position one of your other characters below him, they can do this combo follow-up attack where he knocks them off and the character shoots them as they're falling. That's it.
Mhm.
It's just great, like cool little animations all the time.
Mhm.
It's a lot of like thinking about how quickly you can sort of take out a battle. You
Mhm.
want to like there's a certain amount of turns that you have to finish it in to get like 3 stars in each battle.
Mhm.
And the side quest missions are all like basically a puzzle of you figuring out how to solve it in like some of them are just one turn. It's like you have one turn to either kill everyone or get your character to a certain point, which requires you to take multiple turns. Like you get that thing where you get the one more turn based on certain actions you take, and you can do that an infinite number of times as long as there's enough opportunity on the battlefield to do so.
Mhm.
So and then of course there's the triple threat attack where you form a triangle around a downed enemy, and then that can hit every enemy that's in that triangle. So like part of the strategy is in some of those special ones is, all right, how do I basically encompass everyone on the battlefield, right? So how do I position all of my characters so that I can do that? That's cool. And the story is fine. It's not like amazing, but it's well written enough, and the characters are colorful with nice dialogue, and there's a bit of a mystery going on with like the sort of main story characters that are new to this original to this game. Specifically like the one who fights with you, this arena character that like I'm most interested in finding out, like, who is she in the real world? Is she someone in the real world? Because of course everything that's in this game is in the metaverse. It's not actually outside of like the intro. There was a part that was in the real world, but the rest of it's in the metaverse. Yeah, it's fun. I'm really enjoying it. It's
Cool.
a solid turn-based tactical RPG.
Yeah, I want to get back to it. I've only put about an hour or two into it because I was trying to finish Gaiden, So I'm going to get back to it now this coming week. So
yeah, but it is one of those traditional ones where
Hmm.
it's basically battle to battle to battle, like with story in between, right? There isn't much, like you don't walk around and do anything else outside of battle. Right? There is the bit of like menus and skills and talking, a little bit of extra optional conversations, and of course you can do persona fusions and stuff in the Velvet Room. That's all there. It's less important as it is, I think, in the regular Persona games, but it's sort of like extra bonus stuff that you can give each character now. So,
yeah, cool. All right, Fubu, I'll let you go next. Yeah, I know, the FC and all.
The usual too. This week I played a little bit less than the other weeks. Already explained this, and we don't need to touch that again. But yeah, I just need to give it to Burley. Last week he told me, I was saying it didn't feel like a Final Fantasy game, and he said, "Oh, wait a little bit longer. It's going to start making sense. So then it feels more like a Final Fantasy." And yeah, I have to agree. It's starting to feel a little bit more like Final Fantasy. I'm getting to the point where I feel like everything's going to blow up and it's going to get crazy. I don't know. I'm just going to say which part I am. Like, I just awakened Ifrit. I went to the Phoenix Gate, awakened Ifrit, and now I'm going somewhere, and I feel like it's going to start blowing up. This is where, because he's doing the hero's journey, he's like this guy trying to avenge the family, then he finds out something, then he unlocks his power, he's doing the hero's journey, and he's accepting his fate, which is something Final Fantasy does a lot. That's why Burley was predicting it right, that it's getting more Final Fantasy, and I'm I'm loving this game. Like, I just want to run around the world and just kill enemies and stuff. The combat is super, super fun. The story is getting really good. And like I said, I feel like it's blowing. It's almost blowing up. And I'm just going to love every moment of it. And this is the praise that I can give any game. Okay. And the last game that did this to me was God of War, the one that came for the PlayStation 4. So the remake.
Okay.
It makes me not want to play EAFC. I want to play Final Fantasy. That's how good it is. Like, my addiction goes towards Final Fantasy, and it takes away. I don't want to play EAFC because of that. That's how good the game is.
But you will go back to EAFC.
Yeah, after I
No,
finish the
no.
podcast.
Give me a little time, expat. FF16 will help. We'll get some
Okay.
other games in them. Don't worry.
Okay, but and then hopefully, like when Rebirth comes out, and we'll be talking about that when we talk about 2024. But yeah, so yeah, all right.
Rebirth, I'm going to buy it right away. I'm not going to wait for that one.
Yeah, I know you are. All right, Burley, what have you been playing, man?
I've been playing more of Star Ocean 2 remake. Been
Nice.
loving that. I'm now, if you've played the game on the original PS1, I'm on the second disc. So it was a 2-disc game back on the PS1. And it's just so good to go back to this game. It is so much fun. And just it makes me now want to do, because I chose the male protagonist. When I do finish my playthrough on this, I'm going to go start as the female protagonist, experience her story, and get her the exclusive party members she can get. I'm not going to go for all, I think, 86 endings the game had. I'm not going for all that. I've had fun, but I actually started up another game. I started up Persona 3 Portable. I got that. I bought that on CD keys. I bought it cheap and got it on the Steam Deck. It's just nice something sitting while I'm playing in bed. And I was like, because we got the remake coming in February, I want to see how this is compared to the remake. So
cool.
But I'm very early on. I just got my Persona and all that. Just started the basic stuff.
Very good game. I remember playing it on the PSP. It was really, really good.
Yeah, I'm really excited for when that comes out. To see how graphically enhanced it is and how how it plays.
P3 Reload looks like, I mean, it is my most anticipated game of 2024 right now. It looks to me like someone who didn't play Persona 3, and I just tried the P3 Portable a little bit just to see what it was like. It feels like a brand new Persona game when I look at it. I feel like I'm getting Persona 6 because I've never played it, so I'm getting something completely new.
That's good.
Persona 5.5,
yeah, kind of. I know it's not going to have, it's going to have a bit of the old school style dungeoning, but they did say that they updated it in some way to make it a little bit less repetitive than what it was. So either way, I'm super excited for that. Like I purposely dropped out of P3P just because I'm like, that's coming, and I don't really need to play that sort of weird version that has none of the 3D, aspects where you can walk around with the characters. It's just ripped all that out of the game. It's just bizarre. Even there's even like sort of 3D model cutscenes, right? When characters talk to each other, like all that's cut out for just back to like faces talking to each other, like visual novels.
Yeah, but they need to do that because to fit on the PSP, because they had to do that.
That's why.
That's the reason why. Because again, I didn't play the original one on the PlayStation 2, if I'm not mistaken. I did play on the PSP, which was, well, I'll be honest, I can't go to jail now. It was completely hacked. So I played that. It's the statues are off, something like that. I can't go to jail anymore. Sony can sue me. And they did that because when I played the game the first time, I thought the game was like that, and then later I found out that there was something. So I'm also very interested on playing the remake now to try it with the 3D environment like we did with Persona 4 Golden. I played that a lot, and also Persona 5. I really want to try like that. It seems like it's going to be even better than my experience.
Okay, Fubu, you had something before we get into the weekly news beat. You had something that you wanted to mention about the story we did in the previous podcast episode about the PlayStation Portal and
Yes.
the sales in Spain. Go ahead and
Yes.
throw what you wanted to say out there.
So very quickly, the first thing I said was, I don't know if people understand what they are buying. That was what I started with, and I do. So I have a thesis now that helps me reinforce this idea, because this was an ad in Portugal, and I tried to find the ad to show you guys, but I can't find it anymore. But basically, the first thing they do on the ad is have a PlayStation 5 in your hands. So, and when they do the ad, they don't explain. You have to have good internet. It doesn't work without internet connection. You need to have a lot of speed. They don't explain everything, and people that don't know what it is think, oh, you can use that to play PlayStation 5 games on your hand like a mobile device. So it is false advertising. I'm gonna say that's the same thing that happened in Spain. I think there was a false advertising that didn't explain exactly what it was. And I actually love hearing these situations. So if anyone that's watching this can leave a super chat explaining a story where you had the false advertising, we would love to read that and compare to this situation. I think it would be very interesting to talk about it.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Fubu. All right.
No problem.
So let's go ahead and jump into the weekly news beat. And of course, we have the Game Awards coming up on Thursday. And obviously, Geoff Keighley, he made some comments. One of the comments was that the Game Awards is going to be moving away from world premieres. So it's not like we're not going to get 0 world premieres, but less than we are used to getting. So from what he's saying is most likely we're going to be getting updates on games that have already been announced, but I'm sure there's going to be some world premieres in there. He talked about that. And then he also talked about the security for this year's show is going to be beefed up. And obviously he did not give any specifics. And that's a smart move, because you give specifics and then that's what gets the crazy people to, to change their plans and move into different positions. And so, of course, he didn't say anything about where the security will be. But you can bet that probably some of the funding that's going into the beefed up security maybe had something to do with the fact that we're not getting as many world premieres. Who knows? But so I'd like to get your guys' thoughts on some of the things Keighley talked about. He also talked about Dave the Diver as well. But what do you think of his comments when he did his Q&A session, and any other extra things that you might want to throw out about this coming Game Awards this week? Burley, I'll start with you on this.
Yeah, I'm not surprised on a lot of his comments and like being less world premieres, because let's be honest, we just got the news a couple days ago. Rockstar is like this Tuesday we're getting GTA 6, the reveal and all that. Everyone knows you don't need the Game Awards to get these notices. You say put out a day or two, like Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo says, yeah, we're gonna have a small showcase in a day or two. It's gonna get trending on all these social media platforms, and it's all just gonna be trending till they show this, and then still be trending on social media then when they show. So they don't need the Game Awards. And for a lot of stuff we do know games are taking longer and longer to make. So it's like, do you want to start and do this world premiere trailer at the Game Awards, show us nothing, and we don't hear nothing for another 2.5 years? We're waiting to get an actual thing, because people are tired of getting the trailer, just the screen of Dragon Age 4.
Yeah, just the teasers.
Teasers where you gain nothing, and it's like, okay, they're making the Mass Effect one, exactly. Yeah, and I'm glad to hear beefed up security, but let's actually see, because they could have, say, beefed up security, have one guy sitting in a chair in a magazine. That's more than what they had last year. We will wait to see, and I know someone that is going to the event live, so I'm curious from them to tell me how the security was.
Yeah, well, it's not only that. Even this year at like Gamescom, I mean, there was somebody that came right up on stage and got right into Keighley's face and was talking about, when are you going to talk about this announcement or whatever? Yeah, I mean, that's really dangerous stuff, man. So
Yeah.
yeah, but I can probably promise everybody out there's not going to be a Clinton boy to come up on stage this year. Yeah.
Oh, you never know. You never know.
Never know, but I think I could make a safe bet that's probably not going to happen this year. We'll see, but yeah.
Yeah, that's got to be the whole reason why this is an article. This is why he's talking about that, because it's absurd. It's happened twice now, and
yeah,
you shouldn't be letting that happen at this kind of event, and it could turn into something really, really tragic,
really ugly.
Right?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, sorry, Carl, continue.
No, go ahead. That's fine.
I was going to say the political tensions right now because of war in the Middle East with Israel and Palestine. I think it's very, very, very dangerous at this moment because I'm not going to say which side, but it's something. If you go on X, in this case, previously known as Twitter, you see a lot of people with a passion about that. Even here at Ireland, in the middle of the ocean, I have people talking about that war, that one side is right, the other side is right. It's something very, very, very global. And let's be honest, this is the Game Awards. It's going to be televised worldwide. There's going to be millions of people watching this, and people might try to invite to convey a message, and they might convey the wrong way by hurting someone. So it's really, really important they have beefed up security this year more than the other years, because tensions are much higher this year. It feels to me.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I mean, it's a live event, millions of viewers worldwide. And, that kid, he did say something about, like a rabbi, he was making a weird reference to something Jewish. And I don't really understand what was his angle, right? I don't think anybody really knows.
Yeah.
So yeah, you never know, right? There could be something. I don't know why people like to target Keighley. Like, I almost starting to feel bad for the guy because, like, the guy, like everyone's against him, like on every angle, from every side, every little thing he says, they're hanging on. Like, even this article that you got here, right, about the world premiere thing. I mean, reading it, I mean, he says in the quote, he says, also, what is a world premiere? Actually, you see, this year we often put up those cards, world premiere. We're going to move away from that just because everything's it is a first look. It is an announcement. So we just treat it all as great game content. And yeah, it's like, really, I feel like all he was saying is that, like, it has no meaning anymore to say world premiere, because what is it? Is the world premiere of, like, the first time we're ever seeing it? Is it the first time world premiere of gameplay? What is it? Who cares? It doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah. Sometimes he gets a bad rap, but yeah. So go ahead, Fuba.
Yeah. I was going to say, I think this is more of a rebranding. It's like when you traveled by plane, you had the first class and the second class. Now it's the executive class and the economic class. It's a rebranding. Right. It's going to be the same thing. It's just a rebranding. And something that caught my eye on the article when I was reading it, it was saying that they asked him how many world premieres, how many premieres they had this year. And he says, about the same amount as last year. If you're moving away from world premieres, why do you have the same amount as last year? Doesn't make sense to me. So I think what he's trying to do is, we're going to have like first looks or first experience or whatever he wants to call it. We're still going to have the world premiere, but it's going to be a different branding. Again, I don't know which name it's going to be. I think it would be a first look. Could be something interesting to call it. But it's just a rebranding. You're going to keep having world premieres, but with a different name.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah,
okay, we'll see. I want to see that, actually.
Yeah. So yeah, my prediction of the Grand Theft Auto 6 being at the Game Awards, I guess that's shot, because it's coming out. Yeah, it's coming out on Tuesday. But I mean,
it said
trailer one.
Possible.
It says trailer one. So who knows? Maybe
Oh.
trailer 2 comes at the Game Awards. You know,
It's
maybe
gonna be the
the
world premiere of trailer 2.
extended look or something like that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, extended look. That's good, actually.
extended look. Yeah, there you
That's a
go.
good point, Fuba. It's like world premiere of the second trailer.
Exactly.
Yeah, of course. Nobody's seen it yet.
It's like,
No,
yeah.
world premiere of the casino, the online casino. They'll show us, and how they're going to want to get your money.
Oh boy. Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited. I mean, yeah, Thursday is going to come around, really quickly, and yeah, looking forward to that. And of course, in next week's episode, we'll be talking about the winners and stuff. So, and you can go and check out our episode where we give our predictions for the winners as well. So go check that out. So, all right. So next up, let's talk about Sony and PlayStation. They made a new partnership. So yeah. So Sony signs a partnership deal. Yeah. With NCSoft. So this is from IGN. I'm going to go ahead and read a little bit of it for you, then we'll talk about it. So Sony signed a quote, strategic global business partnership, end quote, with NCSoft, the South Korean company behind massively multiplayer online role-playing games such as Guild Wars and Lineage. So outgoing Sony Interactive Entertainment boss Jim Ryan and NCSoft CEO Taek-Jin Kim issued a joint statement signaling the deal, which will see both companies, quote, collaborate in various global business fields, including mobile, end quote. No projects or games were mentioned, but it sounds like it looks like they're moving very much towards the mobile market. Maybe this is a reaction to Microsoft and their purchase of Activision Blizzard and King, especially King. So, Carl, I'll start with you on this. How significant of a partnership could this become?
I really don't know, because what is NCSoft today? I remember them back in the day from being like a big deal in MMOs with Lineage and Guild Wars.
Yeah.
And they just kept making different ones. I mean, there was Guild Wars 2, there was the Wild Star game, and what else was there?
City Heroes.
Yeah, like they just did MMO after MMO, and for a while, like that was successful. But today, I don't really know what their big thing is. I'm sure they have something that's a hit. So yeah, I don't know that this means all that much. Maybe an MMO that they make comes to PlayStation and doesn't come to Xbox, but like that would have happened probably anyway. So I don't really know exactly what it is they're going to get out of this, but I'm sure it will be mutually beneficial in some way.
Yeah, I mean, positioning themselves more in the mobile market, I think, is what they're trying to do here, and I think this is one of the first steps. Get a partnership with NCSoft and then continue and maybe get some other partnerships or even acquisitions down the line. Because now with Microsoft owning King, that's a big deal. And also Microsoft wants to get more into the mobile market as well. So and they were talking, I think, in the interview with Phil Spencer, I think it was, or one of the other interviews, they were talking about Microsoft, and we'll talk about this for the 2024 topic of the show segment, but Microsoft also wanting to get their mobile store up and running quite soon. So yeah, we shall see. But
yeah, I mean, if it's about mobile, then whatever.
Yeah,
mobile is mobile. Like.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's safe to say that of the four of us here, we're not the biggest mobile game fans. So yeah, but there's a lot of people around the world, and Fubu, you could probably attest to this, being out there, in Europe and stuff, and me out here in Asia, that mobile gaming is huge, and it's the future, especially as technology
I
progresses. And,
don't like it, but yeah, that's true.
It's the truth. So yeah. Burley, you want to chime in on this? What do you think of this partnership?
I think this partnership is a bit of a reaction of a few different things. Is a reaction to that Microsoft getting King. I think it's also a reaction of, remember, they just said they're cutting back their live service production of games. So I'm wondering if this is a reaction to that. I'm thinking it's a reaction to that. What market haven't we got into? We really haven't gotten to mobile. Let's make a partnership with someone and try it out and see how it goes.
Yeah.
So that's what I see it as.
Yeah. Fuba?
Just before I continue with this, I just want to ask something. Is Final Fantasy 14 coming to PlayStation? Is it going to Xbox? Because I know there's a lot of Final Fantasy games going to Xbox very recently. And I don't know, because if Final Fantasy 14 is confirmed, the MMO is confirmed to be playable on the Xbox, I'm considering this a response, and they might put, let's say, Guild Wars 2 exclusive on the PlayStation, or maybe a Guild Wars 3 exclusive on the PlayStation. I'm thinking about something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping it's that, because again, I do understand mobile gaming is the future. I don't like it because what happens is there are not many games that you play on your mobile that doesn't have microtransactions. Like there's already microtransactions in like normal games, but for example, Final Fantasy 16 that I'm playing, unless something comes up, there's no microtransactions. But when you go to a mobile platform, you're gonna end up doing that. And yeah, the game might be free, but by the end, you're gonna be paying a lot of money at the end of the life cycle of the game. And you'll see, for example, Opera Omnia, Final Fantasy Opera Omnia, something like that. It's closing now, like after 5 years. And not me, I didn't play that game, but the people that play that game, they're gonna do the amount of money they spent along these 5 years, if I'm not mistaken, or more. And it's going to be probably the value of 5 or 6 games. And I don't like that, because them going to mobile, they're not thinking about, we can release better games on mobile. We can make more money on mobile, and let's get this company to help us with. And I'm against it. I do understand it's the future, but I am against it. And I'm going to be those old men like, gaming is on the consoles, not on mobile. It's gonna be one of those. So
Yeah.
Foo,
the Final Fantasy 14 was confirmed to come to Xbox. It's going to be next year, early next year.
And I heard something about that.
Yeah, and it's before the next expansion, the next major expansion. So it's
I think it was summer. Summer it was confirmed.
Yeah,
I think summer is the expansion, so I think it's maybe a little earlier, maybe like March or something. I forgot.
So I'm thinking this is like, they can't get World of Warcraft because that's Blizzard, now Microsoft. What's like the third biggest MMO on the last year's? In my head, like, I'm thinking about Guild Wars. I remember there was a time people were like, either World of Warcraft or Guild Wars. Like, I remember when Mist of Pandaria came out, I was like, do I get Mist of Pandaria or do I get the Guild Wars 2 that just came out? And I did get Mist of Pandaria to keep playing World of Warcraft. And I think they might be doing that, get the exclusive on PlayStation. And honestly, I think it's a fail, because like Carl was saying, I don't remember like a good game from them or something like that. Right. They're kind of dead. Unless they release again a Guild Wars 3 with amazing graphics, amazing gameplay, amazing everything. I don't think that's the way to go, and I don't think gaming on mobile is the way to go.
Mobile's there, man. Mobile's about money. That's the thing I don't like about it. Like, obviously, all these products are about making some money, right? That's true. But mobile is like very clearly, it's very obvious, like overtly about like making the most amount of money possible from really the least amount of like costs and budget, right? Because those definitely cost less money to make and less money to maintain than, you know, a full like AAA, you know, service game like Destiny, right? Like Destiny 2, for example, is struggling now because they're starting to see their player count diminish, and it costs so much money to keep adding content to that, versus Candy Crush, which if their player count dips, oh well, like it doesn't really cost that much to keep maintaining, whatever they do for that type of game.
As long as they still have their whales, they're fine. And the problem with mobile is just like every game you get on there, even on the paid games, the ones you pay like $10.99 or $2.99 or whatever pricing, they still pull it full of like progress blockers that are just like, ugh, I gotta wait and let this recharge for me to do another mission, or I can pay 99 cents to progress farther. And then because I've had people that have played these mobile games and they sink quite a bit, and they're like, well, you don't have to sink in that much. And then you tell them, okay, go back to your credit card statement on it. And then they look and it's like, oh my God, you added up. I could have bought this brand new next gen game for the price I paid for this on the mobile.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And one thing about mobile too is the infinite amount of updates and different levels that they're adding to these particular games. Like you were saying, it's not, Carl, they're not that difficult to make, and they don't have to put as much money into it, so they're always pumping out new levels and everything. So
okay, the best thing I could see out of this partnership is if NCSoft is going to maybe develop something that is a Sony IP in the mobile space, much the way like Nintendo had some of their games made by, what was the company? I think I forgot. Was it a Chinese company or who made like the Fire Emblem thing? Like Nintendo's not making their mobile games, right, themselves. Yeah. So that type of thing. Persona 5X, that's like only in China right now, is like this mobile free-to-play version of Persona. Right. And it's made by some other company. It's not made by, say. So if you do that, that's a good way, because Sony trying to develop their own, and even Microsoft trying to develop their own mobile game that's somehow going to be successful and compete in that market is like such a huge gamble and such a takeaway from what they actually normally do with their developers. To try to put them on that doesn't really make sense. But if you partner with someone who makes it, or you buy a developer that does it, like, with King, for example, you can use that company to do something like that. And Sony needs that, I suppose. And they did buy a mobile company, and they actually renamed them just recently. I forgot, that was a story. If you saw that, very small. That one that they bought, I forget the name of it. Savage Games, maybe. Yeah, I think that was it. Like Savage Games. They've never put out a game yet until Sony bought them, and they're just making something for mobile. And then they just rename them because whatever, I don't know. Some executive left.
Maybe the Chinese company, maybe it's affiliated with Tencent. It could be. Yeah. So, all right, let's go ahead and move on, guys. So, Cyberpunk, pretty much development of that's finished. Pretty much, there's one another update that's coming out for it, but now The Witcher 4. It's time for them to move, and they're getting there's over 300, I think, developers now are working on The Witcher 4. So CD Projekt Red ramping up production on The Witcher. So this is also from IGN. So the article here. So confirmation arrived during CD Projekt Red's latest earnings report, which indicated almost 330 developers, or just under 50% of its development staff, were working on the highly anticipated sequel as of October 31st. CD Projekt CEO Adam Kaczynski also confirmed the company expects more than 400 developers will be working on Polaris by mid-2024. The Polaris team had grown to 260 members as of July 31st, more than a third of all of CD Projekt Red. But development on the game is ramping up following the release of Phantom Liberty. So, guys, we're not going to see this game in 2024, but with this amount, of developers now working on it and the direction they want to take this game in, it seems like they're getting pretty focused. And what are you expecting from The Witcher 4? I don't think we're going to get anything along the lines of the Netflix series of The Witcher or anything like that. But after the events of Witcher 3, where do you expect this series and the next game to go in. So Fubu, I'll start with you on this one. What do you think? Witcher 4, man.
I played all of the DLCs on Witcher 3. It's one of my favorite
Oh,
games.
it's amazing.
Beautiful game.
Blood and Wine was amazing. Yeah, I loved
Blood
it.
and Wine was so good. And
Yeah.
what they did amidst the confusion of what happened with Cyberpunk when it came out, they did the upgrade for the PlayStation 5 graphics. It was so good what they did for it, and it was free, unlike The Last of Us 2 that we're gonna have to pay 10 euros for that. But what they're doing for the community is really good. But I do feel like Geralt's story is done. The way it ended, I think it's done. Maybe they can continue with Ciri as the main character, because she had a very, very good character. I loved her character. And we can continue with that. And you can still have Geralt, but like in a mentor type of role, where he advises everything, what she can do, teaches her potions, how to defeat some enemies, things like that. I think that's the way to go with the game. I do like the fact that they are taking turns. So they have their fan base. They have the City of Project Red fan base. And I do like that they are doing something futuristic, cyberpunky, and then they are going back to something medieval, more fantasy, and they are overlapping everything, so you don't saturate everyone with just one type of game. I do like that they are taking turns because, like you mentioned, and it's in the article, they're already preparing that Polaris is the continuation of the cyberpunk games. So yeah, I do like the fact that they're focusing, and they have to focus really hard. So because obviously Witcher is a bigger cash cow than Cyberpunk. It's a bigger cash cow. That's what gave them the biggest fame, because before Witcher 3, I actually didn't know them. So they have to take care of this IP with really, really a lot of love, and don't make it as bad as Cyberpunk was when it came out with all the bugs. I know it's hard because it's a massive game, but they have to focus really hard.
And the author of the Witcher series is preparing the next book to come out. So I'm wondering if any of that will be tied into the fourth game. We shall see. But
yeah, it could be.
I'm excited for that. Yeah, Carl, what do you think of Witcher 4? And
I'd like to see a custom character thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's not really what they've done before. It's always been about Geralt, and you have Ciri as well as an option.
Yeah.
But this remember this from a while ago, this picture with the
symbol,
Geralt's,
right.
symbol, right? He's the wolf, and this is different.
Yeah.
So it could indicate a different character, or like I said, it could indicate a custom character, which I think would be really cool angle. I mean, there's a lot of games that have done that, RPGs, where that's worked really well. I mean, Mass Effect being one, like Shepard, everybody knows that character, even though that was a custom character and looked like whatever you chose, and it worked incredibly well. So
yeah.
And it lends for a lot of RPG options. Geralt is a very specific character, and he's not your character. He's just Geralt, and that's great. I love that about it. So I don't mind either way, which way they go. So whatever they want to do, I'm going to trust, because I think that game was incredible, and they know what they're doing.
Yeah, well, I'd like to see them explore different parts of the world. I mean, in this image here, I mean, they're in the snow, so maybe they're going back to, Karl Morin or something like that, the Witcher's home area or something, or farther north. So, I'd really be interested in seeing, more of the world that maybe they didn't explore so much in the other games. So, Burley, your thoughts?
Well, this is their time to actually get the series right with the fourth game.
What?
No. I'm kidding. I'm just screwing around because I know with people in the chat here, one of my viewers here, they're gonna go no. Yeah, they are doing a remake of one, and they have said Geralt's story is complete, that they've done. So yeah, Geralt is a mentor. You making that custom character would be nice. I'd be down for Ciri, you playing as her for a game.
Mm-hmm.
So Yeah, whatever they want to do would be nice. I'm curious to see, like, explore more the world, go back to areas in previous games, be neat. But
could you see this game coming out in 2025 with the amount of developers now working on it? Do you think we could see it in 2025, or do you think
if
this is
it's
more
coming,
of a late console generation, maybe 2026?
The earliest I can see this is late 2025, like November, December kind of thing. But most likely, this is probably going to be a 2026, whether it be mid or late that year. So
okay, yeah. So yeah, far off, but still, yeah. And we probably won't see anything on this game until probably late next year at the earliest, probably. So,
yeah,
like
I
a
wouldn't be
teaser or something. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised we got a small teaser at the Game Awards of, hey, here's Witcher 4.
The only world premiere. Yes. Yeah. So, yeah. But I'm excited for it, though, man. I'm excited. I can't wait to see what it has to offer. And they'll probably have a VR mode for it with PlayStation 2. VR 2. They'll have some. You can play as Siri. And so in VR mode.
I'm sure Sony is working, like, because they have the VR 2, and it's like, they gotta get games on to sell that dang thing, since you can't get VR 1 games to work with it. So I'm sure they are shopping to Witcher, to CD Projekt Red for either Cyberpunk or Witcher, even if it's a shorter game kind of thing for VR games. Just get them something.
It'll be called the Witcher 4 VR mode, Call of the Wild Hunt.
There you go.
Something like that.
Burley, are you sure that they didn't just abandon the PSVR 2? That's certainly an option.
Well, I think they're gonna. I think that we'll talk about that later.
Sony usually does that because, for example, I had the Vita. Vita was an amazing portable console.
Yeah.
It still works great today. I remember 5 years ago.
Indie machine. It's the indie machine.
Yeah, the indie machine. Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. They have a game.
Indie and JRPG machine. That's what.
Yeah. They had a game there which is called Broforce, which all the characters are bros. But you know the one? Oh, that game is so fun. I played that game. Yeah, that game was so good. But yeah, they abandoned. I remember 5 years ago when I started doing remote play, I was using the Vita to do remote play of the PlayStation 4 at the time. And it was like, it worked really good. The only problem was it doesn't have the triggers, the L2 and R2 triggers. That was the only problem. But everything worked really good. It was really ahead of its time. What they're doing now with the PS Portal, the Vita already did 5 years ago, just without the sticks behind. It was really ahead of its time, and it didn't do better because Sony did screw up with doing the memory cards being exclusive of Sony. Like, I'm gonna have to pay like 300 euros, I think, at the time, at least here in Portugal. I think it's 300 or 200 euros. I'm gonna have to pay, let's say, 200 euros for the machine. I'm gonna have to pay like almost 100 euros to get a very big memory card, and a lot of people ran away from that, and they beefed up the security so much. And this is the truth when it came to compared to the PSP, they beefed up the cybersecurity so much no one could hack the damn thing. Even today, it's really hard to hack, and so people didn't buy it to hack. So since we can't buy it, like they assumed the product was a failure because they weren't selling, because it was a very good machine and no one got it. The PSP sold a lot because I had like two versions. I showed you 2 weeks ago. I showed you the Final Fantasy one that I have, and they are both hacked. And I played a lot. And because the console was hacked, doesn't mean it wasn't a success. They want to sell units. The games, it's an extra.
Yeah. All right. Okay. It's time to get to the topic of the show, guys. So, 2024. Can you believe it, guys? We're only like weeks away from 2024. It's amazing. It's like I still remember like 2023 starting. It's like boom, we're almost done with the year already. We're almost into 2024. So we're gonna break this up. We're gonna talk about what we expect to see happen in 2024, like some of the new gaming trends maybe that we'd like to see, and we have a pretty good like a assessment of what's going to happen. And then we're going to talk about like the consoles, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, Steam Deck, and even retro games, what kind of trends we might see, the games we're anticipating the most for 2024. So let's go ahead and jump into it, guys. So we just talked earlier about mobile. I mean, I think mobile's going to become even really, really large in 2024. It's gonna get bigger and bigger, unfortunately. I mean, for us, but for the majority of people around the world, mobile's gonna get bigger and bigger. I still think VR is going to continue to be a niche market. The Meta Quest is doing well. But I think PlayStation VR 2 is still going to struggle next year. I think the sales of the slim models are going to take off. And with Xbox, when it comes to hardware, it'll be interesting to see from the leaks we got this year whether or not their digital only versions will take off. Of course, the Switch 2 is going to be coming out next year. I think of the three makers, I think it's going to be Nintendo's year again, especially on the hardware side of things, because when the Switch 2 releases, boy, oh boy, they're going to make a ton of money off of that thing. I expect when it comes to awards presentations and all the the conferences, we're not going to see E3 again. I think E3 is dead. We're going to continue to see Geoff Keighley's shows as usual, as well as like the PAX shows and all. Those will continue as always.
Gamescom,
exactly. TGS will be the same. So, yeah. I mean, what do you see as one of the biggest trends for gaming going into 2024, and how will it persist throughout 2024? Carl, I'll start with you. What's on your mind the most for 2024 when it comes to gaming and the game industry?
Turn-based RPGs.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew. Yeah.
But you got a bunch of really good ones in the beginning of the year, because you got Infinite Wealth, Persona 3 Reload.
Yeah.
Well, I think Unicorn Warlord looks really interesting. That's another one from Atlas. Well, Vanillaware, who's under them.
Yeah.
And Aiden Chronicles, which was delayed from this year. And also Suikoden 1 and 2 Remaster, which was delayed again from this year. Mm-hmm. Metaphor ReFantazio, which is the new IP from Atlas. I'm really excited to see this fantasy idea from them and see how that turns out. Mm-hmm. Metal Slug Tactics. I don't know if anybody remembers that game.
My God,
that was delayed. I don't know where that is. Is that coming? I don't know. I hope. Otherwise, I feel I might die. It might be just gone. Well, that would be fun. But yeah, I mean, 2024. It's weird because there's a bunch of dates for things early in the year, but we don't know very much about what's big coming for the rest of the year.
Right.
So it could be anything. Yeah, Switch 2 could be. Man, Switch 2. That's going to be a monster when it happens.
I think it's going to come out in the fall. I think it's going to come out in the early fall.
You guys are going to kill me with my opinion.
Yeah, I just think it'll come out in the early fall because they want to get those sales, before the Christmas and holiday season. So I could see a September release, really.
Yeah. How do you want to do this? So you want to keep like, talking about different things, or are we going to talk about like specific platforms later, or you just want
Well,
me to
let's go ahead and
segue?
get into the specific platforms now. So I'll go ahead and transition over. So let's go ahead and talk about Xbox first, because my biggest, as you can see in the image here, Hellblade 2. I am so excited for this game. Senua's Saga. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really hoping it comes out, and I think it will, but I don't know exactly when it's going to come out. They haven't given a definitive date yet. We might, who knows? We might get something at the Game Awards, one of those, announcement type of things. But that's my most anticipated game on the Xbox side of things. Let's talk a little bit also about what Phil Spencer said, and of course the Windows Central article that Jez Gordon came out with, his interview with Phil Spencer. Phil Spencer was talking about the fact that Game Pass will not be coming out on PlayStation and Nintendo, even though they probably want it to. I mean, the CFO was saying that that's something they were hoping to do, but obviously Nintendo and Sony are not going to allow that, so they can't really pursue that, unfortunately. At this point, at the moment, but I still see Game Pass really, really exploding in 2024, because we're going to be seeing, and I'm going to show you an image here that was also put out by Windows Central, all these different studios that are going to be pumping out games onto Game Pass day one, and probably that's going to be recurring almost every month once we start 2024. With the Activision Blizzard deal done now, you're going to be seeing those Activision Blizzard games start to trickle into Game Pass probably from next month, from January. So yeah, a ton of games from a ton of studios that are coming out. And of course, like I mentioned earlier, Hellblade 2 is one of them that I think is going to be coming next year. So really excited for the Xbox platform. Carl, I'll let you go next, because you're one of the biggest Xbox guys here for us. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Xbox is going to have a big year. I think the days of Xbox having a slow year or a dry year, I think, is over from now on.
Gone.
They have too many studios. Like, the likelihood that they don't have good amount of games coming each year is pretty slim. Because look, they have more than Sony does. They have more than Nintendo does. Like, as far as first party goes, they have the most stuff in development.
Yeah.
So the numbers are just there, and they're always going to be there at this point. As far as what's coming, I mean, Hellblade 2. I mean, I that looks amazing. I just really need to see combat. I need to see what they're doing with that.
Yeah.
And I think it's okay if it's not, heavy combat, but I still want to know what they're going for.
If it's anything like the first game, if they can improve on that even just a little, I mean, that would be great. I mean, because the combat in the first game was cool. Yeah.
I like the taste you got. There wasn't much depth to it, but if you do a lot more with that, expand on it, it'd be really good. Avowed, I'm really excited for.
Yeah.
Because while I loved the Outer Worlds, and we aren't getting Elder Scrolls for quite a while, so if you want your sort of first-person RPG fix, in the fantasy setting, Avowed is going to be it for quite a while. I would think. Yeah. So that's something that you should be looking out for. And honestly, I like the way they do writing and storytelling better over at Obsidian than Bethesda. Like, Bethesda is very good at the sort of wide open, do anything sort of sandboxy type thing. Yeah. And Outer Worlds was not that. Outer Worlds was much more focused, specific storyline. It was actually, to me, more Mass Effect, but first person, right? Because you had your companions, each of them had their stories and their side missions. More like Mass Effect 2 had all that. So I hope for some of that in Avowed. We'll see how that goes. And then you got, the Flight Simulator 2024 and Our History Untold. I mean, those will have their audiences.
Yeah.
They're not really for me. Towerborn, I think, looks really fun. It looks like that type of Castle Crashers game that we haven't had for a while.
Yeah.
So hopefully that is of good quality. Because
Yeah.
I think it could be successful in that. It's a smaller space. It's not going to be like a wild success.
Yeah.
And some people say Clockwork Revolution is a possibility for 2024, although I don't necessarily think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Maybe by the end of the year. And I think there is something they've alluded to, that there's something else first party that we don't know about that's still going to come. But I wouldn't expect that to be something very big.
Could we see Fable next year in 2024?
Fable's not coming next year. I mean, I would love it, right? That would be awesome.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to see what they do with that. But I'm feeling like 2025 is probably going to be really stacked for Xbox because so many games that they've announced have been delayed and will probably end up being ready around that range. Like 2024, like maybe some of them could have hit the end of this year, but delaying is always better because you don't want to have your game come out in a poor state.
Yeah, they also
Redfall.
Yeah, they were also
there's no saving that one.
They were also talking about Stalker 2, and there was news that came out on Stalker 2 that the campaign is 80 hours long.
Oh, yeah, okay.
For that kind of game.
Yeah. So no wonder it's been delayed or so many times. Yeah, it's like, but what I'd really, speaking of Obsidian, I'd love to see the Outer Worlds 2 come out next year. I mean, that would be interesting.
Well, but it's not.
I'd love to see that.
Avowed is next year.
Avowed's next year. Yeah, but
I mean, they are different, but it would be weird to have somehow.
Yeah, probably 2025. Yeah, so. Mm-hmm. Burley, Fubu, anything you want to say about Xbox? But before you guys go, I just want to mention one other thing about Xbox. When it comes to the hardware side of things, I don't see a big improvement in sales with hardware. And it's interesting how Microsoft has come out now and basically said that the reason why we're not publishing hardware sales is because we're focusing more on content, the content side of things now. And that was interesting. So I can see hardware sales probably, staying around the same levels as this year. Anyway, Burley.
Yeah, that's a good point. And you got to remember, it's the PC side, like everything is day one on PC. So like,
right.
I see it more so in other countries. Like why do you need to buy an Xbox, which is very expensively priced because of certain trade rules and stuff, right? Like they end up being really more expensive, much more than it should be if you just did the exchange rate, right?
Right.
So, like PC is a much better option for so many people in other places.
Right.
So why not just get a PC and play all the games there? It's a bigger library.
Right. Burley, Fubu, you guys want to chime in on Xbox?
Yeah, I got a few things. Yeah, like you guys said, they've got a lot of companies, and they'll be stacked and putting things Game Pass, trying to hit every month, fill it with stuff to get people more and more into the ecosystem. Very curious to see. I think one thing for hardware, I think they will try this year, next year to get out is that I think it was called Keystone. Was the project name?
The streaming thing?
Yeah, the streaming thing.
Yeah, I don't. All right, yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised because that's a big thing in their thing. If they can get a device out there for, just the general people that don't have a gaming PC or have an Xbox, if you can get it for 50, 60 US, you can get them. Like, I know they had the big deal with the Samsung TVs and all that of having the Game Pass app already there. So you're good to go and you can start doing it that way. I think they're going to try and focus on that hardware. And hey, really good idea for them. Bring back Scalebound. Get that game finished.
The dream is dead.
Yeah, I don't think.
Well,
I don't know.
I know the dream's dead, but I can still have hope. God dang it, can I?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
for one of the things, because you asked Carl this earlier, it's not necessarily for Xbox, but for all of them. For me, my prediction for something for 2024, we already have confirmation of 2 of these in February. Is more remakes. As you know, every year we've been getting more and more game remakes, and since they've been selling and doing well, it only makes sense. All these companies, Microsoft included, Nintendo, Sony, they're all going to be doing it.
Yeah,
and looking and being like, what's of our back catalog can we update a bit, put it as a remake, get it out there.
Right. Fubu, anything you want to add for Xbox?
I'll be honest, being a PlayStation guy, I have to admit, I think next year it's going to be Xbox's year, because you have the perfect example of what happened at the end of this year. You had Starfield like last month on the Game Pass day one, right? What you get on day one on the PlayStation Plus, you get the Power Wash emulator. If
Okay, we're going to talk about that later, Fubu. That's PS Plus.
Okay. I'll. But what I want to say, this is for my point, is if Xbox continues like this, like Microsoft continues like this, they're going to kick PlayStation's ass next year, and I really hope that happens, because I already said this a few times in the past here. I love competition, and if there's competition, that means PlayStation will be better, will make Xbox want to be better, Nintendo to be better, and I want this year to be Xbox. I feel it's going to be with this Game Pass, and not the hardware, but with the games they will offer. I think it's going to be Xbox's year, and that's going to be very, very good for all gamers, because the bar is going to rise, and everyone else will have to step up.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and move on to PlayStation, because obviously the big game early in the year for PlayStation on their side of things is going to be Rebirth. That's going to be huge. There's probably a lot of people that are going to say that's game of the year, and they're going to, go to their graves thinking that it's going to be game of the year 2024. Like I said earlier, PlayStation VR 2, probably, unless we get like a Half-Life Alyx or something type of game that they throw into it, I just don't see VR still taking off. The Portal, I don't know how well that's going to sell. I mean, if you can start dedicating, PlayStation 5 games that you can actually play on it, and not as just a remote play functionality, then it might start to take off more. I mean, just there's really, besides Final Fantasy and all, I mean, when it comes to the games lineup, it's really a big question mark when it comes to PlayStation. Yeah, I mean, they're going to get the Persona. We're not getting we're probably Monster Hunter from Capcom. We're going to see another Monster Hunter game. They've already confirmed that they're not going to have a new mainline Resident Evil game next year. So, yeah, I mean, it's still, I think it's up in the air. Big question mark when it comes to PlayStation. Will the Slim, when it comes to hardware, will the Slim models take off? That's a question mark as well. Burley, I'll start with you. What do you think of PlayStation's 2024 situation?
Well, their 2024 is very interesting. Like we don't really know what is coming really for exclusive or first party. We like for first party, we know The Last of Us 2 remastered in January, and February we have the exclusive Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Yeah.
After that, I don't. Yeah, Helldivers 2, but like that's all we pretty much know. We do know there have been studios been working for a while, like they acquired Bluepoint. Bluepoint did the Demon Souls remake in 2020, and they've been working on an original title since that. So we could have their game get announced and maybe come out that year. There's
what is from Software working on right now?
Well, they have the Elden Ring
Elden Ring.
DLC.
But could we get Bloodborne 2 or Sekiro 2?
There's possibilities, but I think they're more focused on putting their resources into Elden Ring because Elden Ring sold so well for them.
Right.
They're gonna put their money there.
Are Fair Games and Concord coming next year?
That I do not. That I don't know. But for the hardware side, when you were asking about the hardware, I'm sure the PS5 will keep selling this new model because it's replacing the old one that are out there, because that's all you have the option, the 1 terabyte. So it'll be interesting between the digital and the physical disc drive one, which one's going to sell better. As for PSVR 2, I think this is when we're really going to see that this thing is just Sony is going to cut. They're not going to put any effort and more money into this, because I think it's a flop at this point to say, because when was the last time we heard about any like PSVR 2 game that was like, oh my god, this isn't something already on Meta,
right?
The like in all the other VR titles, because the only one that I know that's really exclusive is Horizon. Like the only thing I can think that they could do right now to help them is this: they came back and said, hey, you know what, we're putting out an update in May or whatever time. PS1 VR games are going to work with PSVR 2 games. Like that's about, and unless they can come out with that or some really big exclusive VR games, like one every couple of months, I think the PSVR 2 is on life support. The Portal, that's sold out everywhere. It's sold out, so the sales numbers are good. Yeah, you have people on different sides of it. I enjoy mine, but I'm in a good spot and for like having good internet and all that, when my internet's working at my apartment and all that. I like the device and all that, but that we have heard there are rumors now, if this is true or not, that because the streaming of the PS5 games, if you're a premium member, is on different servers. So if they can get that where I can stream a PS5 game and not have to have my PlayStation 5 on, and just requires, let's say you have to be the premium member of their membership, it will really help the sales of the Portal. I think it'll help, and keep it in mind. As for their elite line of like headphones and all that, I think those are not going to do so well because the prices Sony wants on those are insane. Like the earbud ones are the same price as the Portal, so $300 here in Canada. It's like I can buy some really good wireless headphones. Like I bought these Beats on Black Friday. They're regular $250 before tax. I got them for $99 before tax, and they're really good. Got a long battery life, and I have them on my phone and on my laptop.
Yeah. Carl, I was going to say, let's get another Infamous game. Yeah, I'm really excited.
Oh my god, that's what I want.
Yeah, that's what I want too. Yeah,
I'd rather have that. I'd rather have that over Ghost 2, and I love Ghost 1. Don't get me wrong, but it's like I'd rather them go Infamous or just new ideas.
Yeah,
if they're going to remake anything, remake Infamous 1. Even Infamous 2 could be as well, but because those games are PS3 games and you can't simply play them right now, like you can use the streaming function. But no.
Infamous Second Son remaster, Carl.
Oh, you don't need that. They already did like the 60 FPS, but who cares? I actually never played that one. And I still do want to. I just never.
Second Son is good. Like there are some new gameplay elements that were cool and that they did with they used with the DualSense and like the motion effects on there. But it was like the story wise for Second Son, I don't feel is as good as 1 or 2. Because I actually really liked Cole McGrath, whereas the protagonist of Second Son, he was the least introduced. Some of the side characters I cared more about them than the main character.
Yeah.
Fubu, you want to add anything?
I think PlayStation is spread too thin because they have a very big ecosystem. They have to try and save the PSVR 2, which won't be able to save. The PS Portal, again, it sold a lot, but trust me, after Christmas, you'll see a lot of them in secondhand because, again, people don't know what they got. They got the new model. I don't think, because if it was something that a lot of people bought the PlayStation 5 like I did on day one, okay, now it's time to change and upgrade or whatever. But a lot of people still are now buying the PlayStation 5 and they don't want to replace immediately for another PlayStation. Maybe if we have this conversation in maybe, let's say, in 2 years when it's the PlayStation 5 Pro, I'm going to say, yeah, it's going to sell like gangbusters because people will want to do the upgrade, whatever. But and again, Jim Ryan leaving and new leadership. That when there's a new leader, things always get a bit flaky because they're adapting to the new type of leadership, and that's never good. So I don't see a good year for Sony and for PlayStation.
Carl, you want to chime in on PlayStation? What do you think?
There's two other games that could, I think, Rise of the Ronin might hit 2024. That's that Team Ninja game that they got exclusive. And what was it? Stellar Blade, we haven't seen in a while, but that also could come. We've already seen, a lot of that. So in general, I think it could be a tough year. They don't have any heavy hitters that we know of, right?
Right.
Spider-Man 2 was enough, right, for Sony first party for this year for people to look at and say, all right, look, that's the thing, that's fine. We got our game of the year, nominee. It's incredible, high quality, high sales, critical praise, everything, right?
Right.
They don't seem to have that coming next year. Obviously, Final Fantasy, if you want to count that, that's third party though. But it is exclusive. For how long, we don't know. So you could count that
6 months.
Yeah, I mean, but we don't know what the Xbox deal is going to be at this point because we know that they said more of these games will come, but when and if is still up in the air.
Yeah.
And it's all, I guess, PC as well, but that's not as big or not as relevant to that conversation. PlayStation will, they'll be fine though. They always are.
Yeah. Yes.
What I hope for them is that they hire a new CEO who people are happy about, right? People can get energized about this person's, I don't know, either personality or history or view on gaming, right? It aligns with what people expect from PlayStation, right? And we hear less focus on the which we've already had on the service stuff, and it sort of gets back to what they're best at. And you can do the other stuff, but your front facing part of PlayStation, right, should always really be focused on that single player, story driven experience. And you can have the other things, but you have to have those. Like that's what it is. And if you don't have that in the year, it's going to be tough, but you can sell it with a promise, right? You can have a great showcase somewhere in the year that shows what people are working on. I mean, Sony Santa Monica has I think a new IP they're working on. Last of Us 3 is happening at some point. I don't know if we'll see that, but they have their studios, which we don't know what they're working on.
There's one studio that was really popular and amazing during the PS4 era. And I would love to see them come back and make the traditional arcade twin stick shooter, Housemarque. They decided to move away from that to make Returnal, which is great in itself. But I want them to go back to their traditional twin stick shooters, the arcade style of games that were really, really popular in the PlayStation 4 era, like Resogun and, and games like that. I mean, I would love to see that, them turn back to that. But yeah, We shall see. Okay, let's move on, guys. Let's talk about Nintendo now. So, Nintendo, you got Paper Mario that's going to be coming. Paper Mario RPG. So that's coming. You got the new what is it, Burley? The Peach and
Peach's game. You got the
Peach's
Paper
game.
Mario Thousand Year Door remake. You've got Luigi's Mansion 2 remake.
Luigi's Mansion 2 remake. Yeah, you got all those. Yeah, and like I said earlier in the show, I mean, Switch 2, that's coming next year, and that's going to be the big highlight of 2024. I think it's like how good of a piece of hardware is this going to be? I mean, what type of quality of games is it going to be able to play? It better be backwards compatible.
Yeah.
That is the big thing. It better be backwards compatible, or there's going to be problems. But will it be able to play the AAA type of games that the current Switch is unable to really do? That's the question. I think it's going to be an LCD screen. I don't know if it's OLED. I think it's LCD. So the image quality, how well is it going to be? How will the hardware perform? That'll be a big question, but it's going to be, when it comes, it's going to be big. And the design, I mean, is it going to look almost identical to the current Switch, or is it going to be bigger in size? And, are there going to be different types of button SKUs? We shall see. But I'm excited for that. Burley, I will start with you on this one. What do you expect from Nintendo in 2024?
Well, like you said, let's just go straight with hardware. We're gonna get I feel we're gonna get the announcement soon on this hardware, maybe at the Game Awards, but we'll get like a real direct early on from Nintendo about the Switch 2 or whatever they're gonna call the dang thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, this needs to be backwards compatible. Whether or not it's gonna run stuff a lot better, whether or not you're gonna get your like PS5 and Xbox Series quality of games, we'll have to wait and see. I think it'll be, if you want to go closest to power, it'll just be just below the Series S, I think. It won't be Series X or PS5 level.
Yeah.
I think for me, one of the big questions also is storage capacity. I mean, what kind of, how many gigabytes are you going to be able to store in this thing?
Well, I'm praying Nintendo is not doing what they did the last two times, where the Wii U was 32 gigabytes if you went with the black, or 8 if you went with the white edition. The Switch launched with 32 gigs. This thing needs at least 128, in my opinion, to launch, because with how game size, even though Switch games are smaller, they still, like, if you get any of like the Xenoblade games or Tears of the Kingdom was like 18 gigs.
Yeah.
So stuff
They're
like that.
Bigger. Yeah.
They're getting bigger, and they can get storage cheaper for that. I could still see them having the whole, micro SD, because you can still get running games off there quick. Like, I have games running off the micro SD card slot on my Steam Deck, and games on there still run pretty quick.
Right.
So it'll be interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually try something with the dock for this, and have, for those that want to increase the storage and get faster, giving you the M2 slot on the dock, and allowing you to put an M2 drive in there so you can get better performance and more storage. Yeah. Now, there's been a lot of rumors and stuff, and Nintendo has said on some of the stuff. We know Mario Kart 9 is in heavily development. I don't think we're going to get the next Mario Kart right as this thing launches. I think it's probably 2025, but we'll get shown that. Yeah. A new 3D Mario, since we just had a big 2D Mario with Wonder, I think we're going to get something with that. And we just had a big 3D Zelda. I wouldn't be surprised if we either get a remake of another 2D Zelda, or a brand new 2D Zelda, because we haven't had a brand new 2D Zelda in I think it's been since 2008 on the DS. So
yeah. How about
I would go Metroid. Yeah.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Fubu.
Yeah.
What about Metroid? Yeah.
What Metroid? We're not
4?
going to get Prime 4 in 2024. We will get some news about it, but because we know they've had trouble development, they threw out Prime 1 remastered this year to help and help everyone bide their time on that. I think we could get a thing for 2 and 3, maybe in a package. They'll do a remaster. I'm hoping if they do that, do some more quality of life, because I like the Prime 1 remastered, but there are some quality of life things they should have added and fixed to the game if they're going to sell for the price they were selling it for.
Yeah. Could we get another mainline Mario game with the launch of the Switch 2? Like we got the Super Mario Odyssey for the original Switch.
Well, that came later in the year, because that was in September, October, and the Switch launched in March. I think 3D Mario will either launch with the Switch 2, or be in that launch window with in a month or two kind of thing.
Okay. Let's see. Fubu, your thoughts on Nintendo?
Can I go last? Because you guys are gonna kill me. Please let me go last.
All right.
Go ahead, Carl.
I don't think I have a lot to say. I'm not really into a lot of Nintendo games, so I don't know what it is that they could do, right? I mean, I want Fire Emblem Three Houses, sequel, right?
Yeah.
Is that something that's going to happen next year? I kind of don't think so, though it's possible. I mean, it's plausible.
I don't think so, because they had Engage early this year, and I know Intelligence.
But it's not the same dev team, right? Wasn't Fire Three Houses was done with someone else, right? I believe.
I thought it was the same. I might be completely wrong.
I think it was co-developed with a different team, but look into it. So there's that. I want to see the Switch 2 hardware. I do want to know what that is. I am interested. I like having a good portable console. Steam Deck is cool, but I'm a console guy. I've always been a console guy.
Yeah.
Steam Deck isn't that. So I would like to I want it to be OLED. I hate the fact that they're it's not going to launch an OLED and it'll have a later OLED model. The Vita did the right thing, launching with OLED, and they later made a cheaper model. And I think that's just because they were in trouble with it, right? It wasn't doing as well as they hoped. Mm-hmm. But that first model OLED was beautiful. I remember getting it. I had it day one, and that screen was too. Wow, this is amazing, right? So that's what I want to see from Switch 2, really nice hardware. I want them to go as far as they can with the hardware. Obviously, they want to stay within a certain price, right? But I want to see, a lot of RAM. I want to see OLED. I want to see I want to see fast storage. I want there to be, the NVMe SSD in it. Just give me a whatever size, smaller size. That's fine. Maybe you even have a slot where you can put one in the smallest size ones, right? Yourself, if you want to swap it out. And Nintendo doesn't really do that stuff, so they probably won't. But put a decent size in there. Your games will get bigger, because if you increase your hardware capabilities, there's gonna be higher expectations for higher resolutions and textures and what are all these different things that are going to make the size of your game bigger, right? So you're gonna need bigger storage. So yeah, just give me some awesome hardware and just forget about the gimmicks. I know you're probably gonna have to support those things, right? Your motion stuff that's already in there. But can we just leave it at that? It's fine what you did. Those features will still be there, and you can still use them the way they are. But just focus on making it a really awesome handheld core gaming device, and all your other stuff can be there in secondary, and just do it. What we've always wanted from Nintendo is just a really awesome system that doesn't need to sell you on some other nonsense
gimmick.
Yeah, like we can,
Yeah, well, that's the way that Nintendo makes money. I mean, when it comes to their hardware, they come out with a new iteration like every 2 years or so. So like you were saying, Carl, you'd love to see them just come out with the OLED. I have a feeling they're going to come out with the LCD, and then after that, in a couple of years, they'll come out with the OLED, and then a couple of years after that, they'll have the OLED with like a twice the storage capacity and all of that, and a bigger screen by like a half an inch or something like that.
well, like I
So
get it, but like
yeah,
people are going to be rabid for this device. They will
Yeah.
buy it. It doesn't
Yep.
matter. It could be more expensive.
Yeah.
It could launch at 400. You'll be fine. You're gonna sell really well. So like, I think you should target that and put as much as you can into that price point.
Yeah.
And then you can still sell more later. You can add other things. Okay, you can't add OLED. You can add something else. Like people are gonna buy it because that's what people do with these devices. The Switch is such a massive success. People will
Yeah.
buy their Zelda edition, their Mario edition, their Pokemon edition. Okay, Don't
It's
worry
the
about
family
that.
console. It's
Yeah,
the
don't
family
worry.
console. So you got new gamers coming up all the time, and so yeah, they're always going to have people in the masses to sell to. Fubu, go ahead. Your rant.
It's not a rant by itself, but
I'm
you
just
guys are
kidding,
gonna
yeah.
kill me. No, I know. I'm doing this on historical basis. Okay, what I'm gonna say. I think the Switch 2 might be a flop. Yeah, oh, look at the expat. He's looking at me. What the? No, I'll explain. Look,
Continue. I mean, I'm
you're
looking
curious.
forward
Look,
to your theory. Yes. Go.
Okay, so you had Nintendo 64,
Mhm.
great success, right?
Yeah.
You had GameCube,
Yeah.
not a success.
Yeah.
You had Wii, great success.
Yeah.
Wii U, not as much. Then you have the
Not
Switch.
any. Not any.
Okay,
Wii.
thank you, thank you,
Yeah.
thank you. I was trying to be kind. Okay.
Yeah.
You got the Switch, great
Yeah.
success.
Mhm.
What are you expecting? I'm expecting not a success on the Switch 2 because it is historical. It is a proven fact that Nintendo, they can't keep up with what they did before because they changed the gimmick from the Wii U to what the Switch is. And what happens is everything that Carl was saying is right. They have to cram a lot of things in it. But if they cram it a lot, they will have to put the price range really high. No one will buy. If you don't have if you put the low price range, they're not gonna. It's not gonna be as good, so people won't be interested in buying because it's gonna be almost the same as the Switch. But they need to have great power to keep up with what the Xbox and what the PlayStation is doing. Because if they don't keep up with that, okay, I'll put more 200 or 300 euros. I'm gonna buy a Steam Deck because it's basically the same thing that you can do. You connect it on your television, you can take it with you. So using these arguments, using historical factors, which I love to use, I'm saying that the Switch 2 might be a flop.
Okay, my only counter to that is okay, the Wii was a massive success, right?
Yeah.
Just imagine if they came out with the same Wii and it was just better. Instead of the massive failure that the Wii U was because it was completely different, right? It was
What was the PlayStation 2 if not PlayStation 1 but better?
Well, the PlayStation 2 obviously was different because it had the DVD drive, instead of the CD-ROM. Yeah. So I mean,
it was the upgrade for more room. Yeah,
right.
They had that, but it didn't change that. Like they changed the DVD. They did brand it at the time, like, oh, you can have a console and a DVD player.
Exactly.
At the same time.
It was an entertainment device.
Yes, it was an entertainment device.
Yeah.
But what you can do with the games, they only improve graphically because everything else remained the same. It was a better PlayStation 1. They did brand it right. And that's another thing that if they have to brand it not as the Switch 2, but they have to brand it as something not something else, but they have to do a different branding, because again, if they are buying the Switch 2, they might as well stay with the Switch 1 and see what happens when it comes to what games can come out. Because again, what Burley was saying, we had Zelda this year, we had Super Mario, we had a bunch of their most iconic IP, we had it this year. And putting again the next year, it feels like something that Nintendo doesn't do, which thank God they don't milk their franchise that much, because they're not an Assassin's Creed where they put every year Assassin's Creed. No, they give some time to breathe. Maybe they put a DLC. Maybe they do something like that. But they used most of their most iconic IP this year, and I don't see them using next year. And again, I'll keep saying, I think, and I hope I'm wrong, because I want to be one of those guys that buys a Nintendo Switch on Nintendo Switch 2 on the Super Switch. Let's call it Super Switch. I want to buy that one on day one, because I want it to be a hit, because I love the Switch. Even today, I went to the supermarket with my mom, and while I was waiting for her, I was playing some Switch in the car. I was playing some Switch. I was doing the emulators. I was playing some Fire Emblem, and I loved it. I love it. Even today, I love it. It's an amazing console, and I want it to be a success, because I wanted to buy it day one, play with my friends, with my girlfriend at home alone, take it to well, not gonna say where, but you know where,
to play EAFC, of course.
Yes, to play EAFC. No, it's
that's all you're gonna do.
I want it to be the biggest success possible. But again, historical factors, I don't think it's going to be a success.
Is there a possibility, guys, that you think that they might not name it the Switch 2? Like, they might not put the Switch to the name, that it could be something completely different.
I think they won't, because like as Spoo was speaking, the Wii to the Wii U, that was the whole thing that killed the Wii U, was the naming convention. Because I remember going into stores buying Wii U games. I had employees like, "You sure you have a Wii U and not the Wii?" Because we did not, because they were getting tired of all the returns and all that. Like,
don't get me started, Burley, on like the Xbox. Xbox Series X and then like the Xbox One X and all of that. Yeah, on the Microsoft side. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, but like Nintendo screwed themselves with the Wii U at the gate right there with that.
Yeah.
This whatever this next console's going to be, I'm hoping they learned with that, because that killed them. And I think Reggie had said something about it. He's like, yeah, the naming really hurt us with the Wii U. So like,
I don't think the name is a huge deal. Like, yes, the Wii U, right, that was a problem, but it wasn't just the name, because it looked like a peripheral, because people saw that tablet and they thought, oh, it's just like an accessory for the Wii, right? So like the name didn't help it, but it was the design of the device, right, that contributed to that. And then again, the library of games wasn't incredible. It didn't get all of the third-party stuff, so they ran into those problems. And if you look at Xbox, like Xpad brought up, I mean, again, weird names don't seem to stop it. It's not like it's not successful or is successful because of those names, right? Like, Xbox 360, I don't know, people like that, but does that make sense? I don't know, but it was successful, right? And then the Xbox One, kind of a dumb name, but I'm sorry. The cabinet man is here. Are you almost done? Hold on.
Yeah, so like the Xbox One and then the Xbox One X, and so kind of like the confusing situation there when it came to
those names,
consumers going in and what is the difference between an Xbox One, Xbox One X? It's like, I don't know, particularly those that had never bought an Xbox before. So.
I'll just say on the name, the last thing, the smartest thing I think they should really do is just call it the Switch 2. I mean, we understand like the PlayStation method. Oh, PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's working. Okay, just do that. Okay, Switch is a very successful branding, and it's going to be another Switch, right? I doubt they're not going to do the portable device that can plug in and be on the TV again. So, like, if it is that type of device again, just keep it simple.
Yeah. All right. Let's make a bet right now, guys. What's it going to be? Switch 2 or Switch Pro?
You ain't
Super
gonna-
Switch 2.
Yeah, those are my choices. Yeah. Two.
Yeah, 2. Okay. Fubu
Throw-
goes with Switch U, right?
Yeah, throwing Super Switch. I don't know.
No.
You might Super Switch.
EA
Yeah.
Switch.
You never know.
EA FC
It's-
Switch. Yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm gonna call it Super Switch. They
Super
want
Switch.
to appeal. If they do something, I think they might want to appeal to the nostalgia of the consumer. And the consumer that has most money at this moment is the one that grew up with the NES and the SNES. So I think they might try and do with some nostalgia and go with the Super Switch.
Hey, I grew up with the Atari 2600, so yeah, that was my.
But
Leave a super
back
chat
farther
if you
than that,
think
yeah.
about a different name. A different name for the Switch. Leave a super chat. We'd love to read that.
Okay, let's move on, guys. Let's get to Steam Deck. So, what do you guys think of the Steam Deck's prospects in 2024? Burley, I'll start with you on this one. What do you think the Steam Deck can improve on, and what type of games do you think will be that people will be looking forward to playing on the Steam Deck in 2024?
Well, the one thing they're still been working is just getting people's libraries, more and more games compatible and playable on this thing.
Mhm.
That's the thing. They've got a lot of games compatible, and Valve is. I can attest to it from as an owner of the Steam Deck. They are putting in the effort, and now having the OLED model, having upgrades for those that may have waited, you now have a better product you have the chance of getting. As for games, the thing is, like, I've run action games, I've run platformers, JRPGs. This thing is a JRPG machine. Like, you can just sit, run, and play them, but you can still play. Like, I have a friend that bought Marvel's Spider-Man and plays it on this. They have a good desktop, but they just like, hey, I can sit here on my couch and just play Spider-Man.
Mhm.
So it's like, keep working with developers as new games come, get them playable, and get them, if you can, on day one, fully verified and running well on the Steam Deck. It'd be great.
Any chance that we might get a new iteration of the Steam Deck this year, or are we going to continue with the current iteration?
That's the thing. Like, they told us last year, or this year, oh no, we're not going to get any hardware iterations, and then just randomly the OLED dropped. So
yeah,
I think we'll get a tease of a next major upgrade.
Mhm.
Whether or not we get it next year, I don't think we will.
I see. Carl, Fubu, anything you want to chime in on the Steam Deck?
It's a
I want
curious one. Oh, you want one?
No,
They're
please, Carl, go
expensive.
on.
They're expensive.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm gonna have to sell a kidney.
Out here in Japan, you don't see people with Steam Decks. Yeah, so it's
Yeah, that's the thing. The Steam Deck is still a niche device.
yeah.
It is very popular amongst a certain audience, and this type of device is popular now.
Yeah.
It seems to be a trend in sort of this secondary sort of PC hardware, right? Like the ROG Ally, the Lenovo one coming. I don't know if it's out yet.
Right.
So
Yeah, the Lenovo's out.
oh, it is. Okay. I think that's a good avenue to go into. I think Xbox should be looking into it. I don't know if PlayStation, they put out the portable, so like they kind of put out something completely different at this point. But this, will it continue? Will they continue to iterate? I think it's tough because I don't know this device is all that profitable. Like, it's got to be incredibly expensive to produce, and they are selling it at that sort of console loss leader price. This is why, like, the Switch, right, is nowhere near as powerful, and the Switch 2 you shouldn't expect to be as powerful as a Steam Deck, although I would hope it's relatively close at least. So yeah, I'm not sure about the future of the Steam Deck. I think it's something they'll continue to make because it's popular, but
Yeah.
can they make it can they keep progressing with it and still have it be profitable? Because is it leading towards more Steam sales, right? Is that enough? And maybe that is. Maybe that's fine. Maybe that's working. But I don't really know. It's a companion device. Will those people, for most people, right? I think, will those people, are they buying more games than they would have bought if they didn't have the Steam Deck? Like, we don't know these numbers. That's how you really have to quantify its success and profitability at this point.
Yeah. And I think the library as well. If they can continue to expand on the library, I think that's important as well. So
I mean, the library is every Steam game, right? Potentially. Some of them don't work, right? Certain things aren't going to work. And that's always going to be the case, right? Because it's not Windows, right? And all these games are made for Windows. So there's that layer in between that's always going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Do they make you can put Windows on it? Well, but they'll never sell probably like a Windows version, right?
No,
that wouldn't be.
No. But if they can continue to improve on the games that do not run and have a bigger list of games that do run and that are verified, I think that will go a long way. But Fubu, any thing you want to chime in on Steam Deck?
Yeah, when it comes to new hardware, I don't think that it's a priority to give new hardware. I think they need to improve the library, like you guys were saying. I'm going to tell you now, from what I understand, okay, I think the Steam Deck is the perfect machine. And when people start to understand, I think they will get more. And I'll explain why. This is a perfect machine. Why? You can type your PC games. You can play it here as long as they keep expanding the library. You want to play PlayStation, you can put the remote play. You can play PlayStation on the Steam Deck. If you want to do the Xbox, you can do the same thing with the Xbox. You can get the Switch emulator and play Switch here. You can go get all the emulators from Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and you can play it here. So I think that the Steam Deck, when people again start to understand, they need to lower the price. I'll tell you now, because if this thing was like 400 euros, I would have bought one by now. But like 700, 800, 1,000, no, that's way too much for me. I'm not that rich. I wish I was, but one day maybe. But what I'm saying, this is a perfect machine, and I think it's not gonna have a crazy year, but I think it's gonna be a good year if they start marketing on these points that I've been mentioning. They will start to sell. If it's profitable, I don't think it is, but I think it's more to sell and then make the money back on games and on the store. I think that's what they're going to do, which is what the Switch should do, by the way, the Switch do.
All right. Last up, let's talk about retro. Retro gaming in 2024. Burley, as you can attest to this, 2023 was a very, very good year for retro games. And especially games that are very retro, styled. Mm-hmm. Sea of Stars, lots of games like that that came out that are, retro style. Of course, when it comes to retro hardware, we got a new iteration of the Atari 2600 with different games with it. A lot of, when it comes to game libraries and preservation of retro games and of those, games that are growing much older now is becoming a priority to a lot of, the gaming industry and of particular companies. So what do you guys think of retro gaming in 2024? Obviously, more games that we are familiar with, that we have played, will become, put into this particular category. So what do you think of the prospects of 2024 for retro gaming? Fubu, I'll start with you on this one.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, always be kind. Anyway. Of all the past 3 years, I'm going to tell you now, the best games that I've played in the past 3 years have been retro games. This year was Sea of Stars. Last year was Mango Mischief. It was such a fun game. I know Burley played it as well. Yeah. It was really good.
And check out our extra take. We have an interview with the developer of Mango Mischief.
He's a great guy.
Yeah, nice guy.
He's
Yeah.
a great guy. And 3 years ago, Divided Reigns, which is also a retro turn-based game with fantastic story and fantastic twists. It's a must-play game. It was really, really good. I want to continue, but when it comes to retro gaming for me, I don't like those twin shooters games because I used to suck at those. That's why I don't want to play those.
Okay, that's
the
why.
only
All right.
reason. I'm not
love
bad.
those
I
games.
used to.
Do you remember
I
a
know.
game? I talked to Burley and Carl about this, especially Burley and I. We talked about it. Do you remember that arcade game called Smash TV? Used to love playing that game. Yeah, the twin stick shooter. Yeah. Yeah. It's like,
No, actually, I'll have to see that one. Actually, I don't know
it's great.
which game it
It's
is.
great. Yeah.
Oh, that was a great game.
But
Yeah.
I don't know if I can. This is like small spoilers from Sea of Stars. I don't know if I can say that. But like at the end of the game, on the last boss, it turns into
Burley. Tell him no. No spoilers,
No,
please.
no spoiling that. Trust me.
Okay.
You
I
can't. It's such a great thing. I don't want it to be spoiled.
Good. Okay. I won't
Play
say.
the
I won't
goddamn
say.
game, people.
Okay, I would say. But
Yeah.
try it. It's great. It's great. But
Yeah.
anyway, what I want for next year, I want the turn-based retro games. I want those because I used to love playing those. I want the retro JRPGs, like again, Sea of Stars, Mango Mischief, Divided Reigns. I want those. I like those. Even if they want to do with the 2 HD graphics, like they did with the Triangle Strategy, what they're doing with the Octopath. The Octopath was great, man. I want, like they can do with those. If they don't want to do old school graphics, they can do it that way, but give that nostalgia. And I want more of that. And I know that next year I always mix up. It's Breath of Fire 3, right? They're released.
I love Breath of Fire.
They released a few weeks ago. They released the Star Ocean with the same type of graphics. I got to Live a Life that's making almost 1 year. I love those types of games. I want more of those. I'm going to tell you now what I want them to do with those graphics, which I don't think Konami will do because it's not a big IP. Vandal Hearts. I don't know if you guys remember Vandal Hearts from the PlayStation 1, but it's a turn-based game. I mastered that game. I did everything before trophies, before anything, and I would love to play that game. That if that game came out, I would. If they announced it, I would pre-order it immediately. I don't care the price. I would because I love that game, and I love those types of games, and that's what I expect for retro gaming. More games like that from big companies, from indies, because sometimes indies do something crazy, like Sea of Stars. What they did with the game was something that no big company would do because it came from a creative and a small team, and they were very creative minds. And I really, really like what they did with the gameplay. And I want more retro JRPGs and turn-based games.
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of these retro games, they're getting lots of add-on content as well. So, I don't know, Burley. Will we be getting some add-on content to Sea of Stars in the near future?
I don't know on that one. I don't think we will. But if you're wanting more of these retro style games, go to Kickstarter. Seriously, I've kickstarted. I've got a few games I've kickstarted, waiting on them to come out. They were supposed to come out, but they've said, hey, you know what? We got to pump the brakes. We got to get this out right, because I think one of them said we can't be the next Redfall. I'm not going to say which one it was. But
these games are cool, right? Obviously, some of them are great. Sea of Stars, right? Chained Echoes, another one, like the turn-based sort of RPG retro games. Weirdly though, like I'm not super excited about them. Like I like them, I think they're cool, and then I sort of like fall off on playing them because I feel like I'm playing something from my childhood. And I don't
that way.
And like I go back to those things sometimes and I check them out, but ultimately like I don't play them to the end, right? Like I think Chrono Trigger is sort of my one exception of a retro game that like I've played a lot of times, and I've played throughout the years. I've tried playing it over again. It's been a long time now. It's probably been like I don't know, 8 years or so, if I had to guess, since I've really played it again.
So it's like for nostalgia purposes to get into it for a while and play it, and then
and these games are new, and they're not obviously, so like that's a new story, new experience, and they're adding new features. And Sea of Stars is hitting on a lot of those, like what's great in those genres, and then sort of adding and improving on those things, right?
Yeah.
But I'm still always more excited about like your newest, your more modern visuals, or just something completely new. I like, Persona to me is new. Obviously the Reload is a remake, but like Persona 6 or Metaphor Fantasia or Baldur's Gate 3, like I get so much more excited about those experiences than any retro game. As good as they may be. But what I want to see in retro gaming is still keep bringing back classic games that are inaccessible. You got to do that. Like Suikoden 1 and 2, for example, like trying to buy those games, trying to get those games elsewhere, it's incredibly expensive and difficult. So like my wish list of things is get me all the Sega Saturn games that are locked on that console that no one can access. There's so many interesting and great games. Like I want to see Sega. Just give me that library, please. You have so many first party developed games that are just no one can play, no one can experience, and just give them a little glow up, put them in like a something, I don't know, something accessible everywhere, do something.
I agree. So that is 2024, a look ahead. So let us know in the comments what you think of what gaming trends are important or you're looking forward to seeing in 2024 when it comes to the console, of course, companies, with Microsoft and PlayStation and Nintendo. What are you expecting from them in 2024? The Steam Deck, is it going to continue to be a success for most of you? Let us know. And for retro games, what are you excited to play in 2024? So really looking forward to hearing from you all. So that is 2024. Looking ahead. So excited for 2024 coming up. All right, so next up, it's time for our new game release picks of the week. So new game releases for the week of December 4th through the 10th, I think it is. So so all the new game releases. And of course, for all of you video viewers, I'm putting the link right here below, releases.com. You can see all of our picks and all of the games that are releasing this week and into the rest of December and beyond. So you can go and check those out. So let me go ahead and get this up and ready. So the first game is my pick of the week. And it's a game that's releasing very soon. So Avatar. So Frontiers of Pandora. This is my pick of the week. So as you can see here. So once I get my deal up there it is. Oh, so I go ahead here. Avatar Frontiers of Pandora is a first-person action-adventure game developed by Massive Entertainment, a Ubisoft studio, in collaboration with Lightstorm Entertainment and Disney. Built using the latest iteration of the Snowdrop engine and developed exclusively for the new generation of consoles and PC, Avatar Frontiers of Pandora brings to life the alluring world of Pandora with all of its beauty and danger in an immersive open-world experience. In this new standalone story, play as a Na'vi and embark on a journey across the western frontier, a never-before-seen part of Pandora. So explore a living and reactive world inhabited by unique creatures and new characters, and push back the formidable RDA forces that threaten it. Comes out on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series S, Series X on Thursday, December 7th next week. Anything you guys want to say about this? The combat looks a little interesting. The premise of this game kind of reminds me of the film Avatar: The Way of Water. Going to a different part of the planet and all. So, what are you guys' thoughts on this?
It's like we mentioned last week. I hope the gameplay has a Far Cry free feel, like something crazy, because I don't want it to look like a generic first-person shooter game. I hope they explore the environment because, yeah, the world of Pandora is beautiful, and I hope they do a lot of exploration with that. I see you can fly. That gives a lot of freedom, and it's something very interesting. For example, with Horizon, the second game, I think that was one of the best features that you could fly around. I really like that aspect. And if that helps with the traversal of the world, it's going to be very interesting. But about the most important part, which is the combat gameplay, I hope they make it like crazy and fun. Don't make it slow. Don't make it boring. That's
Right.
what it needs not to happen. They need to make it fast and fun and crazy.
Yeah, I kind of think this game could easily be forgotten, especially if it doesn't review well. If it's just not a good game, right?
Yeah.
It's just going to go away. If it turns out it's like actually a great game, then I think that could make it do pretty well because there's interest. I see there's some interest for this game, right? I just don't know that there's like a ton of interest. And yeah, like I said, if it doesn't produce, then it's definitely going to be a huge flop.
Yeah.
I don't
Burley,
think
any
the
thoughts?
IP is enough. Like I like the IP. Like, I'm a fan of Avatar. I just don't think it's enough to sell a game like this.
There's some interested to see how this will come out. Like graphically, it looks great, but from what I've seen, nothing seems to like this is a game I need to buy or play or even, load up, rebuy Uplay for a month. This looks like something. Okay, I'll watch someone stream or YouTube videos on this. So I'm hoping there's something out there that makes it when the game does come out, be like, no, you actually got to play it. There's this and that. There's this. It really makes it fun and entertaining.
And that one arrow just takes out that whole chopper. I mean, come on, man.
They're playing on easy and easy on using going to accessibility. Damage is 250% or whatever.
Auto aim as well, so it hits the right spot.
So Burley, what you're trying to say is that's how expat's going to play the game, right?
No, because you've played your Yakuza games. I know how hard those can get.
Yeah. All right. Okay, let's go ahead and because this is a long trailer, so let's go ahead and move on. Burley, you are next. What do you have for us?
My pick of the week is Revive and Prosper. Build and survive and revive and prosper. A voxel-based building strategy game. Cultivate food, gather resources, and control your characters along with golem helpers. Remodel the terrain and flow of water. Build automated factories and face threats in a dynamic world. Can you revive and prosper? Coming Tuesday, December 5th, just to PC. These base building games can get really, really fun. Just seeing and doing all the whole resource management and just it starts off nice and easy, and then when you get attacked and everything, and you're like, trying to get everything, get all your your defenders and all in place.
Yeah, irrigation systems and all of that. Yeah, interesting. Cool little maps.
Yeah, I really like these games. Like I've never played Minecraft myself, but I've seen people play. I think it's very, very good to put your creative mind at work, and this game it goes the same way. I really like these games can be for older people our age, younger. It can be for everyone. Yeah, this looks really like something really interesting to play.
Yeah. All right, Fubu, you're up next. What do you got for us?
So I got The Lord of the Rings Return to Moria. The story of The Lord of the Rings Return to Moria takes players beyond the books and into the fourth age of Middle-earth, the fantastical world created by J.R.R. Tolkien. Summoned to the Misty Mountains by Lord Gimli, Lockbearer, players take control of a company of dwarves tasked to reclaim the lost spoils from the dwarven homeland of Moria, known as Khazad-dûm or Warlord. In the depths below their very feet, their quest will require fortitude, Delving deep into the mines of Moria to recover its treasures, player will join forces to survive, craft, build, and explore the iconic, sprawling mines. Courageous expeditioners will need to be vigilant as mysterious dangers await. The game offers endless experience by featuring a procedurally generated orphan realm of Moria, so no two adventures will be alike, and every expedition is reversible either solo or online with companions. Players can mine, craft, greater gear and resources, but beware, mining makes noise, and noise created in the quiet depth threatens to awaken ninjas below, where there's clatter and there's combat. Yeah, I chose this game because first of all, I'm a sucker for Lord of the Rings stuff, and I like this one because you have to craft. It's a survival game basically, but this time in the world of Tolkien in this case. And I like to go with these games because one of the best Lord of the Rings games was Under the Radar, which was War in the North. Was a very fun game, good story with combat. And I like to give a shot at these unknown games because the world that Tolkien created in Lord of the Rings, it is amazing when adapted correctly, if you know what I mean. If adapted correctly, it is a fantastic world, and I do like the online component where you can work with people to create better gear and explore deeper. And again, if you're tired of people, you can do it by yourself. So yeah, I chose this one, and I feel like it's going to be something that we will talk about because it seems like it's going to be a hit.
Is Gollum in this game at all?
No, this is after.
Okay,
Unless he shows up as a ghost, like my precious.
Yeah. No.
Unless he shows up as a ghost, no.
Yeah. All right, Carl, you're up. What do you got for us?
I have Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. This is coming to, it says PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X. Actually, wasn't even sure. I didn't realize. That was PC only. December 7th, it says, embark on a thrilling journey aboard your immense void ship as you navigate the myriad systems of the Coronos Expanse, a largely uncharted and treacherous region of the cosmos. Though often dismissed as an Imperium backwater, the vast expanse of the void teems with menacing creatures and presents boundless prospects for both profit and exploration. Throughout your quests, choose to show mercy or contempt to your subjects, remain loyal to the God Emperor, or fraternize with foes of mankind. Every choice from character creation onward molds the open world gameplay and its inhabitants. Engage the adversaries of mankind in intricate isometric turn-based tactical battles. Harness cover, terrain, and strategic positioning to outwit your opponents. And when the odds seem insurmountable, rely on your companions' potent abilities to seize victory.
I got to play this game. I mean, just the graphic nature of this turn-based stuff. Looks great.
I like the Warhammer universe. There's always an interest for me in it. I played Warhammer 40k Chaos Gate Demon Hunters last year, and it was one of my favorite games. It's fantastic, turn-based RPG. That was a straight-up sort of tactical RPG. This is more. This seems like more story-driven. There's more sort of character creation and options, choices.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm excited. I was sort of watching this one for a bit. I've been paying attention to it, and I'm not gonna have time for it, but it is a game that I would absolutely get, especially if it receives good reviews and people are saying really good things about it.
Yeah, good stuff. All right. So releases.com, you can check out our picks of the week along with all the other games coming out from December 4th through the 10th for this week, as well as into the rest of December and beyond. So releases.com. So yeah, go and check out all the games that are releasing. Good stuff. All right. Good stuff. All right. So next up, guys. So let's go ahead and get into the games that are coming to Game Pass this month. So for Wave 1, Carl, what do we have coming to Game Pass, man?
Actually, it's not Wave 1. This is it for the rest of the year.
Oh, really? Well, there's no Wave 2?
Yeah,
for
they say they'll
December.
be back early January. After
All
that.
right,
I
so
mean,
wave 1 and 2 then.
yeah. I mean, maybe a surprise at the Game Awards, but other
Yeah.
than that, yeah, they're not going to have another drop.
Okay.
So available today, you have Remnant from the Ashes. That was the first one, and also Remnant 2, which is
Nice.
a very recent game that's, it did pretty well. People really like that game, so that's a cool one to check out.
Yeah.
Coming soon, December 1st, you have Spirit of the North. And then you have available day one with Game Pass on December 1st, SteamWorld Build. Then you also have on December 5th, Clone Drone in the Danger Zone. Just a funny title. I have no idea what it is. Rise of the Tomb Raider on December 5th, which is the best of that trilogy. Awesome game. Absolutely play that if you haven't.
Yes. In Siberia. Yes. I love that one. Good stuff.
Then you have December 5th available. Also, day one on Game Pass is While the Iron's Hot. That's one I looked at for my pick of the week, and I ended up choosing, of course, Rogue Trader because it was a game I already knew about. Then December 5th, you also have World War Z Aftermath, which I don't know if that is that like another World War, or is that the one World War Z game? I don't even know.
I think it's kind of like a DLC for it.
Yeah, I don't know. Goat Simulator 3 on December 7th. Those are always fun, silly games. December 8th, you have Against the Storm, which is only PC. This is a city builder, a fantasy city builder. So those games are always PC first. And then Tin Hearts on December 12th. I don't know what that. Oh, it says it's a Lemmings puzzles type game. Okay, 50 plus puzzles. There you go. Throughout a grand Victorian home. Okay. Far Cry 6 on December 14th. That's cool to get that. Yeah. I see Ubisoft joining in some bigger stuff on there.
That Game Pass patience, to finally get to play Far Cry 6. Yeah, I played Far Cry 5 and just hadn't gotten into 6 yet. So now I'll have my chance.
Yeah, I've never really played any of them. I've only touched a couple of them. So, yeah.
Now, Carl, my question to you is: you say Ubisoft getting into the mix here with this month for Game Pass. What about Crystal Dynamics? Do you think that's a studio that Microsoft might be eyeing now?
I mean, for sure. They've already got Crystal locked up for development, right? They're working on
Perfect Dark.
game.
Yeah. So I mean, never know.
Their troubles at Embracer. I mean, it seems likely that they could make a profit off of selling them because they didn't buy them for a high price.
Right.
And one other thing to mention, Game Pass Core got its first update. So on December 6th, they are adding Chivalry 2 and Totally Reliable Delivery Service.
There you go.
Yeah, Chivalry 2 seems like a really good, type of thing to put on Game Pass Core because it's a popular sort of running sort of multiplayer type game that a lot of people are continuing to play.
Right.
I don't know anything about the other one, but
Burley Carl, any Fubu? I'm sorry. Anything you want to add for the Game Pass games for December?
Spirit of the North. I'm definitely.
Yeah, go Burley. Do it.
I was gonna say I'm definitely going to be trying out Spirit of the North. That's one I really liked.
I played Spirit of the North because they gave it on PlayStation Plus, the premium or whatever, the higher tiers, and it is such a good story. Burley, you're gonna cry. Not gonna say anymore. You're gonna cry.
Okay.
I might actually. Go ahead, Carl. Yeah.
I would say of note, leaving Game Pass on the December 15th is Chained Echoes.
Yeah.
So if you haven't played that yet and you still want to, you can get it there. You save 20% if you buy it while it's still on there.
Yeah.
And Potion Craft is one that I have installed that I never got around to playing. I wanted to, so it's like I may never play it.
I think I platinumed Rise of the Tomb Raider on PlayStation, so maybe I'll I'll try to get all the achievements over on Xbox now. So
It is a good game.
it's that is like Carl was saying, it's the best of the new trilogy. So I'm really excited to see where they're going with Tomb Raider, the next installment. I'm wondering if they're going to bring back Camilla Luddington to do the voice of Lara again, and
I hope they do.
have similar facial features and all and everything. So really,
But
really
my
excited to see.
question,
Mhm.
my question here is, since the game's been out for a very long time, so I think we can talk about this. But the ending of Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which is the third one of that trilogy,
Mhm.
the way it ends,
Mhm.
it indicates it's going to Tomb Raider 1, like the PlayStation 1. You know, that's
Well,
the idea I got by the end.
Well, the first three games, the trilogy that came out is basically the origin story of Lara.
Yes, exactly.
Basically. So the Shadow of the Tomb Raider ended that, and now it's supposed to continue on. So
Yeah. But the idea that I got when I finished that game, because I also played and it's a very good game. But the idea that I got is when you finish the game, you're going to Tomb Raider 1 from the PlayStation 1.
okay.
That's the idea that I got because she has the twin guns and stuff like that. That's the idea that I got. It was a long time ago. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I had that idea.
I think they wanted to kind of move away from that iteration of Tomb Raider. I think with the trilogy that that came out recently. So we shall see. But anyway,
Yeah.
all right, Burley, it's time for PlayStation Plus. So let's go ahead and get to PlayStation Plus. What do we have coming to PlayStation Plus in December for Essential, right? PlayStation Plus Essential. Yeah.
The games have been revealed. We got coming Tuesday, December 5th, you've got Lego 2K Drive coming to PS4, PS5. You have Power Washer Simulator to PS4, PS5, and Sable coming to PS5. I've played 2K Drive. It's not a bad little racing game. It has some problems, but
that's the one you played
overall
on Steam Deck, right? You also
Yep.
played it on Steam Deck. Yeah, we did the
Yep.
the extra take on that. Yeah.
Take.
So,
Yeah, it has some interesting ideas in that it's got the whole open world for the adventure mode, so you can drive around and like as your car goes into water, it turns into a boat and stuff like
Right.
that. So they do have some cool little stuff in there. Power Wash Simulator, I've heard a lot of good things on that one. That it is fun, and Sable, I've heard some good stuff. So I definitely will check out Sable. I'll download that and try that out eventually.
Cool. Fubu, go for it. I know you wanted to say some things about PlayStation Plus, the essential games for December. Go for it.
If I want to do power washing, I'll go wash my car. That's the only thing I'm going to say, because I can do that in real life. Look, I know we're not supposed to get religious and stuff because it is a global industry, but it's Christmas. It's the month for Christmas. Give a gift to your consumers. Give a gift to your consumers. Give them. I'm not saying all free games must be a AAA game, but come on, give us something good. Why not give the Jedi Survivor? Give the discount in this year.
That cost them way too much.
No, I understand. I completely understand that. But what I'm trying to say, give something good. Give something good, because something that feels like that you're getting your money's worth, even if you have the lower tier. Give a good game. Something. Give me a good game from last year. Let me try. I can't even remember a good game from last year. But give. I'm trying to remember. Like I'm
Elden Ring.
Elden Ring. Give Elden Ring. Give Elden Ring. Or the Horizon game. They didn't give the Horizon yet, right?
Look,
let me just clear this up for you, Fubu.
Yeah.
Okay. Where do I live? I live in Japan, right?
Yeah.
What country owns Sony?
I know.
Japan, right?
Japan. I know.
Okay. Do the Japanese people generally believe in Christmas? No.
No.
Except for like dating. It's a date. Christmas Eve is a date night, and then Christmas Day is just another work day. So
Yeah.
that's why they don't have the Christmas cheer. I'm just joking with you, but I mean,
Well, no, it's because
yeah.
the thing is, if they don't want to give to, because they do that, because there are some games that are not, because of rating, they're not allowed in certain countries. I remember a few years ago, they gave a game that wasn't allowed in Germany, and they end up giving a different game. What I'm trying to say is, like, at least for the countries or for the areas that are majorly Christian, that because they do have that title, even if it's just a cultural thing. For Europe and America, they could, and South America, they could probably do that and give a bigger game to celebrate this season. Of course,
give them Far Cry 5.
There's other holidays this season too. So yeah, you could do it, but
the crazy, religious zealot guy in Far Cry 5. There you go. Put Far Cry 5 on there then.
I have
that's
to
a
say
good game. That's a good game. It's not 6.
It is 5. A good game. It is a good game.
Yeah, no, I know.
Was it Father Joseph? I think his name was.
Father Joseph. That's the guy. That's my gripe with this, because Sable. I'm not gonna say bad stuff. Sable does look interesting. I remember watching when they announced the game. I do like the design of the game. I don't know a lot about the game, but I do like the design. I might give it a go. But there's that big game missing. There's the big game missing, and there's been a big game missing for the last few months, either in the lowest tier or on the highest tiers. There's been the big game missing, and that Gotham Knights is not the big game. Come on, it's not a big game.
Yeah, I just had to say, and I'll say it every time, they're still not justifying the price increase.
Yeah,
that's what they said it was for, and it was a big price increase. And sorry, this is the same as what you've always been doing. It's not better. It's not really worse. It's just okay.
If I was in charge, you know what I would put on for December? The first Ratchet and Clank game.
Yeah, sure.
The one that came out during the PS4 era, So
the remake, the 2016, yeah. That's still a good game.
Yeah,
but they've given that one away a few times. So that's the thing. Like, it is. I'm not happy with this list. Yeah. This is like Sony could do better. They just choose not to.
Yeah,
like that price increase. I was hoping for something of like, oh my god, this is actually something I really wanted to play. Thank you, Sony, because I paid the membership. I get this. Now it's like, this is what I get, really.
So it's next year, Burley. Maybe they meant next year. It'll show, right?
2024.
God, I'm hoping on that.
2024, man. Yeah.
They wanted to say next year, next fiscal year, so it takes a few months to go.
Yeah. All right.
Give Persona 5 the gift of Persona 5 Royal. Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah. Yes. Or at least Persona 4 Golden or something.
Yeah, sure. That's a good one too. Why not?
Yeah.
I think Persona 4 they already gave. I think the golden one. I think it was the Vita version, because I remember playing that a lot on the Vita.
Yeah.
I think they gave it but only the Vita version. I don't know about the PlayStation 4 version. But because a lot of people are going to stay at home during this season. Like a lot of students, a lot of people like in the government. I'm going to tell you now, like on the 25th, because it's a Monday, here in Portugal, it's going to be 23, which is a Saturday. So 23, 24, 25, and 26. So 4 days at home. They're going to work only 3 days on that week, but they're going to stay 4 days at home.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people like Leah. Leah's going to stay at home. She works in the government. She's like a big dog. She's almost the owner of Madeira. No, I'm joking. She's not. But but she works in the government, and I know what she's gonna do on those days. She's gonna game a lot, and if she had a very good game on PlayStation Plus, she would buy PlayStation Plus just to play that game. Definitely, she would do that.
Well, Fubu, you know what she's also going to be doing, and what a lot of other people are going to be doing?
Watching our content.
Exactly. Yeah, you read my mind, my friend. So it's time for our other content, our content, talk. And yes, of course, the Arena Productions. We are not only a video game content related channel. We are also entertainment and pop culture related, and I put up an interesting video on Star Wars What If. Just think if the Marvel What If series became a Star Wars What If series. And there have been rumors that Disney Plus is actually working on a Star Wars What If series. So I put out a video talking about that. So please go and check that out. And I also put up, and it's in early access right now for members on the YouTube channel, as well as for our patrons on our Patreon at patreon.com/The Arena Productions. You can check out my season 2 review and discussion of Loki season 2. It's a kind of shortened, condensed review, spoiler-free review. You can go and check that out, as well as the Marvels. I did a short and condensed spoiler-free review, and I discussed the Marvels a little bit, and that is also up in early access for members here on the YouTube channel, as well as on our Patreon, patreon.com/The Arena Productions. So please go and check that out. And obviously, next week's episode, we are going to be talking about the winners of the Game Awards. So stay tuned for that. So we're going to have a lot of stuff to talk about next week on next week's episode here with all the winners. Yeah, Carl. Yeah, Carl, that's your off week,
work.
Unfortunately. Yeah. So yeah. But you'll be here for the final episode of the year. So we'll be talking, but we'll still probably be, talking about the Game Awards a little bit then as well. So, but anyway, yeah, next week, stay tuned for our, discussion of the winners of the Game Awards. So yeah, it's good stuff. All righty. So those were the programming notes. Yeah. So of course, yes, Fubu. Yes. Everybody will be hopefully watching. Yeah. So good stuff. All right, it's time to talk about the games that we're going to be playing this upcoming week. Like I was saying at the beginning of the show, now that I'm done with Gaiden, I kind of want to jump into Tactica and play some of Tactica. And and Burley, actually, I'm getting back to Jedi Survivor. I'm playing more of that as well. So I'm getting towards the end game now. So I'm really looking forward to getting that finished as well. So how about you, Burley? What are you going to be playing?
Well, Star Ocean 2 remake, and I'll be playing some Persona 3 portable.
Cool. Fubu, yeah.
Well, the usual too. I'm gonna jump back on the, and Final Fantasy 16. It's this week. I'm hoping that I will have more time, and I'm gonna focus a lot on that game because again, like I mentioned at the start of the podcast, the story is getting really good. The combat is really fun. The world is beautiful. That's something I forgot to mention. The soundtrack is great. Ben Starr did a great job as Clive. He is like great acting. I'm just loving everything from that game. Everything. So that's what I'm going to play.
Nice. And Carl, how about you?
Just Persona 5 Tactica, most likely. I mean, I don't think I'll be able to finish it in the time I have. So I don't think it's that long, but I might be close.
Cool. Awesome. All right. So I think that's going to do it for us here on episode 155 of the Arena Multiplatform Gaming News Podcast. But before we finish up, of course, we have our indie recording artist spotlight. So we spotlight a particular indie recording artist, and then we have an outro with music. So I'm going to go ahead and read the info on the indie recording artist. So this week's spotlight is on Vortex. At the age of 6, Vortex took up the piano in his hometown of Prague, Czech Republic. After mastering the instrument, he was inspired by a meeting in Los Angeles with world-renowned composer James Newton Howard and has focused on film scoring ever since. In a very short time, his prolific creative output has already produced a considerable amount of top-quality music for film. From his album titled Music of Success, and the song is called You Have One Life. So this has been the Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast, episode 155. I've been your host, Expat, along with my co-hosts, Burley of Burleman Gaming, Turn-Based Carl, and Fubu87. So we hope to catch you in the next one, and have a great week of gaming, everybody, and enjoy the outro. So take care, everyone. Peace out.